see. But yeah, because what I realized also dealing with the North Node, South Node, my North Node is in Aries, my South Node is in Libra, so my comfort zone is like in that Libra energy, but like when I'm expanding and tapping in, or like well, you could say expanding and stepping into the unknown, in that Aries energy, that's where the growth is, and realizing why sometimes like it would almost get to like feeling like a hellacious state whenever I was too much in that Libra energy, and for me, all of my sun, moon, and ascendant is all cardinal signs. So like for one, it's two cardinal signs that really don't like to deal with suggestions from others. Capricorn and Aries. So my Cap sun, Aries moon, and then Cancer ascendant, so it's all like cardinal energies. And then as I was sitting down
going on too.
Was that?
You have a square going on too, like between the ascendant and then sun and moon. Yeah, sun and what is that? Sun and north node as well. Yeah.
All right, and I've been kind of again like looking at those aspects too, like understanding oppositions, trines, conjunctions, because seeing how conjunctions kind of speak to certain gifts and stuff like that. So I kind of been paying attention to conjunctions, but definitely with the healing aspect of just seeing, like life purpose and what is it meant for me to do in this lifetime, studying that North Node and South Node, and also my Chiron energy. Like a lot of people don't too much talk about it as much, but I know like my Chiron is in Gemini. And I'm like, damn, that makes so much sense of why with my YouTube channel in general, I could just be going in talking like, like really, really talkative in that Mercury Gemini energy, or kind of fall back and be kind of wounded about it. Like, oh, should I talk? Am I talking too much? And kind of, dealing with that little back and forth type of energy. So yeah, most definitely.
Another thing was that also the Chiron energy, like the wounded healer part of it, like I could hear like whenever I first started watching your videos, like it was like years ago, but it's like lately it's like I've been listening to them just a little bit more because it's like here at the salon, like sometimes I have like super long services, so it's like let me put on a long video and here you go, right?
Right.
It's like there's something to your voice though. It's like there's like a resonance in your voice, and it's like I could pick up something with it. And I was like, that's probably when you just said that about the Chiron energy, that's probably something in there where it's just like there's some type of healing quality or something in your voice, and like you might not even be aware of it, but there's something there.
Yeah, well, a lot of people have spoken on that. They're like, man, your voice is very soothing, and you know what I'm saying, like it like just basically for the most part, yeah, like my voice has like this healing or soothing type of energy to it. But and even with that, I try not to get too caught up in the flattery of compliments or whatever, but at the same time, take it in, but not get into the flattery aspect to it. But
because it's just something to be aware of, because it's like you could use that either for good or for bad sometimes too, I feel like, because it's like if you have the ability, it's like what is healing, right? You could also ask that question. But if you have the ability to affect a person using this thing, this quality that I have affects this person however, you know what I mean?
Right,
and then
right,
it's
right.
like blend it that way. So it's like you could use it any type of way. So it's like this might be a compliment, this might not be, who knows,
Right, everything is a double-edged sword for sure,
Yeah.
from water to sunlight, everything. And that's what I've been on too recently, just tapping in, because it's like I done went down the ladder in my growth, for whatever, kind of dive into my little dark areas, into those areas, and now I'm kind of coming back up. It's almost like I kind of semi took a nap type of vibe and kind of coming back up or whatever, but like again, like breaking myself out of certain illusions of duality, and understanding the balance of it, because it is a balance of it. It's not just like, hey, everything won, everybody give me a hug right now, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it is an interconnected vibe, so it's like just remembering, you know, that approach, kind of almost in essence revisiting, you know, time traveling or dimensional traveling to my earlier stages of my growth and remembering how I had that healthy establishment of, you know, my unique expression, but also interconnected with everything, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, just tapping into that. Matter of fact, that's what I've been working with Shiva Lingam, and I did a video about that. Like the Shiva Lingam is real good for like understanding that balance of oneness and being in the dual realm and balancing your individual expression with the you know, being source or with, should I say, being source on the human experience, and then the connection to oneness, you know, as well, you know. But
is it like a higher self, lower self kind of thing, or is it like self and others? Like what is the feeling?
as far as you mean like the balance of it.
Well, like with working with the Shiva Lingam.
Oh, all right. With the Shiva Lingam, yes, it's like it balances the, you know, for myself. Let's see, hold on, we got somebody.
Oh, nice.
Next to start video. Let's see. Wait, ask to unmute. And hold that question, sis, because we're gonna tap in with that for sure.
Okay.
Why? Mr. Aaron, hold on now. And I'm sure I got it to where, let's see. Participate. Oh, there you go. All right, all right, all right.
Yeah, what's good?
All right, what's up? What's up, Aaron?
How are you?
Is that as Aaron from in Germany?
No, I don't know what page I don't know what Zoom I'm using,
Oh,
but
that's the Brethren, that's Canada.
yeah.
not to call you, know what I'm saying, but remember, you know, I heard that voice. I'm like, all right, that's a Brethren from Canada. Most definitely. Yeah. Mr. Aaron, peace. All right. And all right, back to Miss Amber, where we was talking about shit, just was bringing up like the Shiva Lingam energy, because we was running about balancing oneness with duality, you know, and with the Shiva Lingam energy, again, for me, it just feels like it does balance that energy of like, hey, I'm sourced on the human experience, here to express my uniqueness, but don't forget that everything is interconnected. You know, like, so all the people, places, and things that you are having come to you in your experience, you are attracting, you know what I'm saying? Like, not forgetting that, you know, because I feel like whenever it gets to a place where I get mad or like feel like where that come from, or, you know, why this person is, you know, it's like that's kind of getting into the illusion of it. Or if I'm getting too much into the them versus us type of vibe with the government and stuff like that, you know, it's like I feel like it's kind of a little too lost in the sauce. And again, that's as my perspective, you know, because again, like it's the balance of it, you know. Shout out to the Bhagavad Gita, because I've been listening to the Bhagavad Gita and kind of it's been helping kind of reestablish a few little things with that balance and understanding though. So
nice.
But and Mr. Aaron, if you want to add anything, again, we was just kind of also talking about North Node, South Node energies with the astrology chart, you know, like understanding the purpose in this lifetime. But
yeah, so well, yeah, you said you caught one of my videos, right? Last time. Yeah.
I forgot which one it was. It was one you was breaking down a bunch of etymology. I didn't watch the whole thing. It was a couple of hours, but I think I watched at least probably about like 40 minutes of it. But you was just going in on the different etymologies of things.
Yeah, I pretty much I kind of had to chill out in the same way of like what you were talking about, getting lost into like, you know, kind of just about like them versus whoever, you know what I mean? Things like that. I kind of chill out on that because there's just so many like illusions and things happening right now. It's just like if you get caught into one of them, it's just they can spiral you into a whole different world, you know. So
Yeah.
Bro, look, my laughter is almost like crying at the same time because I done look, bro. I done, man, like, yeah, it's definitely one of those things. Because hence why I had to start talking about like transmuting inner demons and understanding like with psychic vamping and stuff like that. Like again, like to not have it so much of like, oh, they doing this to my energy and this person. It's like, well, hey, you got to be a vibrational match to that energy in order for it to even, show up or, be a part of your realm, And again, like understanding like is our subconscious playing out externally, and understanding that balance. Like, of course, I unconditionally love the part of me that used to drink 40s and pop Xanax, but that doesn't mean I'm about to go sit in front of the corner store and go do that, because that's not oneness in that sense, and kind of just understanding that balance, of an example I could share, but
no, 100%. Like I'm gonna go pick up my friend in a little bit here, maybe like an hour and a bit, and I had to like let him know I'm like, yeah, I'm not when I come meet you and everything. It's like we're not like I'm just gonna come get you, drop you off. Like I'm not smoking and doing any of that other stuff, like
right,
just
right.
like you gotta just keep it. Just gotta keep it like just got to keep it to where I'm, focused on what I'm doing, not getting caught up into any of that shit.
Yeah,
Right.
it's definitely like, what are you actually here for? And because it's like, almost like everything wants to be a little bit of a magnet, like, oh, you belong in this group, you belong in this thing with us, And it's like it kind of wants you to add your energy to whatever it is, and it's like, no, I don't have to add my energy because I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for something else, whatever it is that I decide, not this.
Right. Not not with your suggestion, you know what I'm saying? Again, like in my Capricorn Aries energy, like got German Shepherd ears when it comes to that. Like I like one suggestion already got like, all right, you suggesting a little like my purpose has to deal with not taking in too many suggestions. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like and again, understanding that balance, not taking any suggestions in the sense of what I have to do for me. Like, that's for me to know, you know what I'm saying? Now, of course, there's moments where when we're, like say for instance, where things could get foggy or something like that, and source, ends up having to talk to us through certain people, places, and things. But you could feel that, you could feel like, all right, yeah, that's source, let me know this situation. But then there's like when I'm aware of what my purpose is, and then like, hey, maybe you should do this. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I feel that.
yeah.
Yeah, no, for me, I'm a Libra. Like I'm a Libra. I'm born. It's a lot. So I'm born on a solar eclipse. So like I'm a Libra sun, Libra moon, also Libra Mercury. Yeah, got a what is it? Chiron in Libra, North Node in Libra.
All right, there you got a lot. Look, and it's funny because my South Node is Libra, so it's all love. But that look, I can't get too comfortable in that area for me, and realizing that's why I like the idea of like kind of traveling, and connecting with people, because again, is with the North Node, South Node, it's not like, oh, I'm gonna never express Libra energy. It's just like understanding, like, my growth is in the area of tapping in with the Aries energy, so.
Well, and the craziest thing is I swear I'm supposed to tap into the Aries energy like the most because like my name is literally Aaron, you know what I mean?
Right. And
Yeah.
you said so what's your North Node, South Node?
So North Node is Libra, South Node is Aries.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Word.
And then Sag rising.
And let me see something quick. Let's see. Let me try to get this person in here. Quentin, can you hear us? Give us a thumbs up, Quentin, if you could hear us. Quentin Collins, give us a thumbs up. Is that a thumb? All right. It looks like a thumb. All right. And all right, but you do have the choice to be unmuted, Quentin Collins. I'm calling you by whole Quentin. Because I'm making sure that I did give the chance to unmute you, but or that you are unmuted, but just making sure. But word. And yeah, and as we bringing up North Node, South Node, I also realized like how a stellium kind of speaks to a North Node, South Node energy, and how my stellium actually almost aligns with my North Node, South Node energy, because I have a stellium in, let's see, well, it's close. So I have a stellium in my sixth house. And so that's kind of saying like, hey, these are the energies that, in essence, you could say kind of heavy energies or energies I've been strongly attached to in the past. And it's showing back up like by having a lot of traffic, in that area again. But it's like the Virgo house, but also seeing, because that's another thing I did was check out, like compare my sidereal natal chart and my Western astrology natal chart, and seeing the differences in my sidereal chart. Virgo is my south node and Pisces is my north node. So it's like, so it's like Aries, Pisces, north nodes on side each other, and Libra, Virgo, yeah, Libra, Virgo, north south nodes on side each other. So just having that full awareness for sure.
Yeah. No, and wait, so what was your sun and moon, Amber?
Sagittarius, and then the moon is in Leo. So it's all fire.
Yeah.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Yep. I heard you, Quentin. I heard you.
What's good, man?
What's up? What's up?
Hey,
What, Quentin? What's your what's your sun sign, moon sign, and ascendant sign?
I'm a Leo sun, a Virgo moon, and a Cancer ascendant.
All right. All right. We got the same ascendant.
You got that fire and that earth element, you dig?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Yep. Cause I think about that too, like paying attention. I'd be like looking at it like Avatar, the Last Airbender, like whatever elements show up in the natal chart too. It's like, all right, that's the energies that I'm able to work with better, you know what I'm saying, in that essence of it. My Western astrology chart doesn't have really like too much air in it. It's mostly all water, earth, and fire. Matter of fact, as I look at it, let's see.
My Western got no water in it. Like I got some stuff in water houses, but I don't have anything. But I do. But if you look at cusps too, I got cusps too, right? So.
All right. Now you mean like cusp as far as like like a sign sitting on like two. Explain it for me because I don't want to talk it out for you.
Yeah, like something like something between 28 degrees and 2 degrees of a sign,
All right. I get
like,
what you're saying.
Like Saturn, 2 degrees Aries. So I consider that kind of like, like mist energy, right?
All right. You said
then,
Saturn. All right. You said you consider it mist energy. Explain to me, because as I'm again like getting into astrology, there's a few things that I'm still learning, and I don't want to act like I know.
Yeah, so the way I look at cusps is basically like they have like a 5-degree orb. So the orb would just be like the kind of like what's considered to be within that realm. So basically 28 degrees of a sign, 29 degrees, and then 30 or 0 degrees, right? And then
Right.
1 and 2 degrees, that would kind of like have a little bit of both energies. So if it's like 28, 29 degrees, it's the majority of the time, but it's kind of going into the next. And then if it's like 1 or 2 degrees, it's like let's say like 1 or 2 degrees Aries, it's mainly Aries, but it has like a little bit of Pisces energy back in it. So when you mix the elements, fire and water, you get like, you get steam or mist. So like Naruto, for example, like yeah, that's where you get that type of stuff from.
No, that is most definitely because that's what I was meaning. Like like that last Airbender or Naruto type of vibe, and I get exactly what you're saying. Because again, that's what made me kind of look up the side reel as well. Because say for instance with my moon energy, Aries moon, it's 3 degrees Aries, so that's kind of close to Pisces energy. So it definitely have that connection. And then when we talk about my houses, my 10th house has Pisces in it, and that's where the moon is at. So, it's kind of like, definitely like a little connection there. And realizing with sidereal astrology is like 22 degrees backwards in essence of what's on the Western vibe. And so my Venus, Mars, and Uranus is the same in Western and sidereal. So, but yeah, I get what you're saying, most definitely.
Yeah, with houses, I kind of see it like, or sorry, not with houses, sorry, with sidereal and Western, I kind of look at it like, if you have kind of like a yin and yang to it, it's like sidereal would be kind of like the yin, and then Western would be like the yang to it. So kind of like, how do I word it? If you have like, you have different bodies, right? So you have like astral body, mental body, all these different bodies. It's like on a physical level, we might look at it as the Western astrology might be more connected to like the physical aspect of things. So like the physical body, and that's like the yang, right? And then sidereal might be connected more to like your astral or like, like other bodies and stuff like that.
Most definitely. For me, it felt like one of them was like almost like one of them connected. Well, in essence, like sidereal connected to either a future or a past or something like that. Like in some way, form, or fashion. But like what you saying, I kind of felt like my or more so like my sidereal is like the spiritual vibe, and the Western was like the physical vibe. It's like, all right, physically Capricorn sun, but then when I'm tapped into my spiritual side, I'm more like a Sagittarius sun, because literally, that like when I was more tapped in spiritual, that's when I moved from Baton Rouge, so I kind of was moving around, I was speaking more and quote unquote like a teacher in essence, like on the Sagittarius energy. So yeah, I definitely feel that vibe or that connection.
I kind of feel like when you're younger too, like when you're like a baby child and stuff, right? You're more connected to your sidereal. And then as you kind of grow up and get older and get older, I feel like you kind of fall more into your Western as you age more too, That's kind of another way I look at it.
Right. I like Western is like almost like ego, and sidereal is like again like spiritual in essence. But yes, but all that. And Amber, you felt I don't know, Amber felt like you was about to say something too earlier.
I was, but it's kind of like a change in subject, so I was kind of like hesitating. I don't want to like derail what we were talking about.
No, go for it.
Okay, so I just wanted to see if you guys have ever looked at the chart as far as like we were talking about North Node and the South Node. One of like the, I guess like guidances that I got was to take the North Node wherever it is and move it to the ascendant, right? So that it falls into the first house, and then read the chart like that. But you can only do this after it's activated. And so it gets activated like around your Saturn return. So it's like you would have to be like 30, 31 years old. Otherwise the chart doesn't make sense. But it's like none of the planets change. You just move the chart so that the North Node is sitting in the first house, and then read it like, what is it called? Whole house systems. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does, even though I would have to like get a little more of a visual on it, a little example of it, but I think I get what you're talking about. Let's see, Aries. Yeah.
Because then once you place it like that, right, then it's almost like the North Node is what you're developing into in this lifetime, right? And the South Node is like whatever you came from, right? So it's like if you're just looking at it like that, it's a progression. So it's like this person turns into what, right? And we turn it to, whatever the chart looks like. And then you look at the houses and see where like the planets don't move, right? Like your personality doesn't change. You just become this new expression,
Right. Nah, that makes sense, because it definitely feels like, just in a general sense of it, like that Aries energy, is like, as I grow, it's like tapping more into it, and again, like, but younger, it was always about like putting everybody else first, and again, more so by habit, because intuitively, the Aries energy was there, though I could sense it and see it, because even looking at like, because it being Aries moon, because my emotions does like have a lot to deal with, like, all right, am I getting to speak my piece, like, am I, what I'm saying, like, can I share, like, kind of, can I be head first about what I'm doing, what I'm saying, like, my emotions kind of connected with that energy. But yeah, I definitely see that change as I'm growing, most definitely. Most definitely.
And I feel like you can also see like themes as well, like, from one chart to the other, because I usually read like 3 different ones just as a general thing whenever I'm talking to someone, or if someone's just like, what's astrology, help me out, and so it's like I'll just take 3 different charts, right? So it's like when they were born, if they know it, because if they don't know at the time, then it's like, don't worry about that one, right? You can still look at the chart of their sun, right? So you take the sun and you put it in the first house and just read whole sign, or you take their north if they're over 30 and then you put that in the first house. So it's like those 3, and then like to overlap and be like, okay, what type of person is this person, like, how are they coming into this life, like, what's going on? So you can kind of see a lot of stuff from one chart to the other, like themes.
And is the North Node usually in a certain house, like, or
no, it could be anywhere. Yeah.
All right. Because at first, when you were saying that, I was thinking like, all right, the North Node is normally in, like, say for instance, like 12th house or 11th house, and again, like doing what you say, like bring it to the first house, like I thought that was like a thing, and again, like, let me see. And I guess I brought that up because I had something on my chart showing like my North Node close to that area, to like the lower houses, but all right.
Yeah, it might be a little bit like more easy for you since it's in Aries, right? You just think of the chart as if nothing changed, right? It's just Aries in the first house, Taurus in the second house, And so you just line it up that way and see where your planets fall. And then it's like, that's the type of person you would be developing into,
Nah, yeah, all right. I get exactly what you're saying. And something
so
I had
for me,
running.
go ahead.
I know you.
I was gonna say it was in Aquarius, right? So I have a stellium. We were talking about stelliums. I have a stellium in Capricorn, right? So it put Capricorn into the 12th house, right? So it was like a bunch of stuff that happened kind of like over time, but it was like around my Saturn return. And it was like, okay, wow, like it's almost like I could see it happening. I could see the houses changing, and it was like, that's the activation, So it's very cool to watch once you like place it and you're like, okay, this is different than, the ascendant when you were born. So
yeah, as you said that again with the putting the Aries, I'm sorry, like putting the North Node as like the first, like in the first house, and then going down from there. Like that's something I definitely want to check out and try. Because again, like this is something, all right, you're unmuted, cool. Because this is something I definitely again just wanted to tap more into, because I've been seeing a lot of relevance for myself, and I've been sensing this vibe to kind of, tap more into it. Because as I would do consultations, I feel like, something was kind of missing in essence, and I felt like, I should be like more knowledgeable about astrology when, you know, tapping into certain aspects of dealing with consultations, even though I feel like my true natural calling with any form of consultation is I'm real good at picking up on dream symbols, or like what, you know, what things mean to you in your waking or dreaming state, like helping people with, you know, breaking down like the subconscious symbols of like what's coming to them and why, you know, and helping understand that. But you know, the astrology definitely will, you know, add a perspective to it, you know, with some accuracy.
Yeah, different house systems are pretty important to know about. Like she said, there's a style where you can make your first house your like where your sun sign is. You can make your first house there. Um, that a lot of times, like in ancient Egypt, they did that, to be honest. And you can have like, you know, like what she said with the north node, putting that there is, especially when it's activated, usually when you're around 30, or, you know, if you're um, more tapped into your Saturn energy. And then one pattern I picked up though about your chart, regardless of whatever house system you're using, is the thing that doesn't change is like, you know, when you look at your natal chart and you see like all the lines and everything, like, you know, the shape of like the lines and everything, right?
Right.
That never changes. You know what I mean?
All right, I think I get what you're saying. Right. Because even because even if you do sidereal, again, everything is moving over 22 degrees, so it's basically the same in essence, you know.
Yeah, the drawing is the exact same thing. And it was crazy because like when I first got in astrology a few years ago, one of the things I did is like I got a lot of birthmarks, right? And what I did was on a piece of paper, I drew like a stick man of myself, right? And I drew all the birthmarks of I drew all my birthmarks and everything, and like then I kind of just, you know, drew it again without the stick man, so it would just be like, you know, like just dots on the page where all my birthmarks would be. And I connected the lines, and it's pretty much the same shape as my astrology as the shape of my native.
Oh, that's fine. That's dope.
So I realized that shape is actually like an energy signature that you kind of like that you kind of have around your body. It's connected to like your aura, it's connected to your name, it's connected to a lot of things. So that signature is really like, it's like your soul print in a sense, you know?
Nice.
All right. See, like that's something new to me. Was also connected with something like that. I was looking up recently, like palmistry in connection with like our psychic abilities and stuff like that. But you know, that's kind of connected with, you know, because I mean, in essence, you know, I feel like our astrology chart would speak to the things that we're more psychically gifted at as well, you know. But
definitely. Thing in the 12th house, anything in the 8th house, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Pisces, Scorpio.
What do you guys think it means if I have my north node in the same place as my sun and my moon?
You said if you have your south node.
My north node, because like, you know, my sun and my moon is Libra, but my north node is also Libra. It's like right beside it, right? So it's like what my future life is my current life.
Yeah,
I feel like it means, go ahead.
Oh, I feel like it's like with situations where aspects are like that, is like you decided to have some help along the way in essence, you know, in the sense of like, all right, your north node is to tap into the Libra energy, so let me jump through a lot of Libra portals so this won't be so challenging. Like, you know, have a lot of little, you know what I'm saying? Because when I look at, again, like all the little challenging aspects, it's like I ask myself, like, all right, I really asked for a challenge here. Because I think about my black moon or my Lilith energy. My Lilith is in Cancer, and that's the most volatile. Like, I almost didn't want to even keep watching videos and getting insight about Lilith and Cancer, because most people are like, oh shit, you could just hang it up type. I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, but I realized, like, again, with protection of it, I'm like, good thing, like when I jumped early into my growth, that I didn't overstudy, you know, astrology. Like I just tapped into meditating, learning how to clear my mind, learning how to be present, you know, and then all right, now I could see, all right, I got this Lilith and Cancer energy, you know, so that's why I jumped into learning how to maintain positivity. Because again, even though it may come off as that, like, oh, he's always trying to be positive, and it's like, no, I understand the darkness, I understand the value of negativity and all that, and I also understand I got Lilith and Cancer, so I'm gonna be out here making sure I'm paying attention to the things that work well for me, or being more optimistic than pessimistic. You know what I'm saying? So most definitely.
It's protection.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I realized that early in the game. That's why I would always tell people to each his own on their growth, like take what resonate, leave what don't, because you're not supposed to just be listening to everything I say, and with, hearing from other people, it's like, not soaking it all, it's like take what's meant to take, because a person may be a type of person like, oh, heavy shadow, you should make your shadow your address, like type of energy, but that's where they at and working from, and are they expressed it in that manner? That doesn't mean I have to do it exactly how they expressing it, but I get the picture, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. Quentin, chime in, Quentin, if you want to chime in, Quentin.
Yes, sir. Hey, I was about to say, do you got any advice on somebody that's starting a channel?
Any what?
Any advice on somebody that's like finna start a channel?
Bro, just I don't necessarily give advice in that sense of it, but just in a general aspect, bro, be yourself to the fullest, and don't, like, your channel is your channel for a reason, like literally, so be aware of that, like, don't of course you could, like, you're asking me because I have a channel already, but one of the aspects for myself was just like, doing this in the way I feel, like uniquely expressing myself. One of the things I stepped into it with was like the affirmation of, hey, I'm looking to be impactful and not famous, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever comes with me being impactful comes with it. But like, I think, and that's why I think start to grow like that, because my main purpose about it was to just be impactful about it, you know what I'm saying? And again, though, tapping into your uniqueness, I was about being impactful, and honestly, that's all that's kind of coming to mind, because again, like, you should do it however you feel you want to do it. What are you planning to present on your YouTube channel?
Going into like spirituality and stuff like that, and I was the astral realm and like ancient Kemet, astrology, semen retention, stuff like that.
All right, word. Yeah, bro. Like, and one of the main things I was always on was like self-empowerment. I didn't want to, like, I understand, because I see how it comes in handy for me, like, where every now and then, checking out a certain video that just helps kind of, spark something, within me, or give some insight, but definitely being there as a beacon of self-empowerment. Like, I didn't, I never wanted people to kind of be following me like I'm some type of preacher, or like waiting on my every word type of energy. But at the same time, understanding the balance of it, like, I am meant to express things that's going to help a lot of people. And, people are constantly awakening. So that's something I had to realize too, in the longevity of it, is to, remember that, people are constantly awakening. So not feeling like I'm being too repetitive on certain subject matter, and refining things as I grow. So if I did talk about this one thing, kind of like the psychic vamp video, like, if I look at the old one, like, and when I looked at that old video, I kind of laugh. I'm like, all right, I was a little off with that, you know what I'm saying? I was a little off with that part, but coming back and refining the information. But again, like, just stepping forward with a genuine energy to be impactful, and
Right, with the psychic vampire video, that made a lot of sense. Cause I remember I used to think it was always something external, and I had to realize, like, hold on,
Right.
like source, like everything comes from within me. Like you gotta, like you said, you gotta be a vibrational match for that to for it to affect you, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. So
Because even with that empath narcissist little connection, it's like that got attracted for me because, I was probably being a little too passive, not being confident enough in myself and my intuition. So that's gonna attract somebody that, that's gonna come in and look to play upon that, you know what I'm saying? But again, being aware, like I don't blame them. I don't look at them as bad. I look at it as, because even looking at like some of those tough moments where I'm like, damn, because I write a lot, and it's like, shit, I done damn near wrote a book from dealing with those, those harsh moments. You know what I'm saying? And having to figure
right,
that shit out. Like, all right, when I did this happened. You know what I'm saying? And diving into my shadow, or just doing the inner work and having to dive more into the inner work because of those situations as well, so again, like I definitely give appreciation to all the little demon energies within, all the little harsh energies, the little manipulative energies, they teachers. I learn a lot. Most definitely.
right,
But
Yeah, for me it was pretty transformative. Like I don't know. I think you just don't gotta have like too many expectations. Just kind of do you, and then you'll see the growth throughout it. Like a lot happens. Like you said, like I was just looking at it too. I have literally right next to me. I got like books. It's like literally books, just of notes, drawings, all this stuff. Sometimes it even looks crazy as hell too. The way you be drawing.
well, you
Just
say it looks like what?
sometimes it'd be looking crazy. You know what I mean? Some of the
Right.
scribbles and drawings and stuff. But you really just be making sense of a lot of stuff that's like spiritual. So a lot of times, like when like at least for me, when I started my channel and everything, like it was another step to like the growth of kind of just like tapping into myself on a different realm. Like if you if you look at your chart and you look at it like your first house is like the self, right? I
Mhm.
feel like once you start getting into the YouTube channel, it's kind of like you're presenting that self to others, kind of like you're in like the seventh house or 10th house, more so, depending on how you treat it. So like it's kind of just like it's like an evolution to your growth. So like you don't really need to have like expectations too much of like what you're doing on your channel. Just kind of make it authentic to you, and it'll just grow into what it's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
And as you say
right,
that, another thing I used to make sure of too, like because I realized how much I was channeling information, I would make sure that I wouldn't watch other people's videos before I did stuff because I was still in a learning stage. So,
Mm.
I was still in that place of every now and then watching videos, but like whenever I would, you know, uh get ready to present something, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna watch. Cause it also helped me to genuinely see, like, all right, you see, I said that and tapped into that and then saw later, like, all right, so and so did a video about that too, you know what I'm saying? And then, that kind of amplifies the awareness of having confidence to speak on what you're bringing up or what you're channeling intuitively as well, and even still to this day, I kind of like, I at this point, watching less videos, but at the same time, still watching some because it's kind of like that, it's almost like that co-worker vibe in essence, like seeing what's going on with everybody who does the same thing as me in essence. But, you know, yeah, definitely not again getting too deep into it so it could be my unique expression, as well. So for sure, most definitely.
right. I got one more question because my phone about to die. But when it comes to like gaining knowledge and like teaching, you know how sometimes they say how knowledge, like nobody owns knowledge, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes like whenever people they be regurgitating information that they got from other people, and that person gets offended, but it's just like nobody owns any information. You know what I'm
Right. Like,
saying? So like sometimes there's like no other way to put it, You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
Like if you try to like mix the words, it's like you kind of like you kind of like trying to misconstrue the information or try to make it something, something like that along those lines. But you get what I'm saying?
I get
Grind it.
exactly. I get exactly what you're saying, and I laugh because I done seen certain people say that. I probably done had a moment of feeling like, oh, I kind of said this first, guys, but it's like, nah, and that's why I made videos about that. Like, I just the one who pulled it out of the cloud, and happened to have a popular platform and pulled it out of the cloud before other people pulled it out of the cloud, but yeah, it ain't no first. So I was the one who started this. It's like if somebody started wearing glasses with the crystals on it, like, oh, you see, they cop like, nah, man, that's sitting in the cloud for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I just happen to be the one, my little Aries energy that likes to kind of focus on appearance a little bit. It's like, it'd be a cool little look, you know what I'm saying? But that I don't have no ownership of this. And yeah, because I definitely will feel like that sometimes. And hence why though, and it would be a conscious little effort just to also make sure I'm not like, like if I watch somebody video and I genuinely like, well, hey, although I know my intuition led me here and I was already getting the insight because this person articulated a certain way, and I kind of like got an from hearing the articulation, I give them a shout out. Like, hey, so and so, I was watching so and so, and they said it like this or whatever. But yeah, for the most part, it ain't no, because even now, like that's what kind of gave me my confidence to stay doing what I do. It's like some people coming out, and talking about things as if it's just happening. And I talked about it 5 years ago. It's like, so stop lacking confidence in what you do. You know what I'm saying? It's like just share and say it, because at the end of the day, I realize like on a soul purpose level, you know what I'm saying? Like there are certain people waiting for you to start speaking. You know what I'm saying? Well, they're not looking to get it from so and so and nobody else. Like they're waiting for Quentin to start talking about it. They kind of just sitting at home, just waiting. And then once you start yours, that's how it's gonna align.
Facts. I'm still in like the learning stage. Like I'm trying to like master the information before I try to teach it and stuff. Cause like you can kind of teach while you're learning, but
It,
you rather have mastery over the knowledge, right?
bro, it is. I find it to be somewhat of a slippery slope in the sense of I think about like I got to a point where I was like channeling information and just like bam, just channel it, channel it, say it. But then it was like presenting it so much as like, all right, now where are you practicing this at? Like you speaking on it, you know what I'm saying? But don't forget to like implement this into what you're doing and be practicing it more than you're speaking on it. And hence why I think that's why I had those moments of like kind of, all right, let me, go into practice a little more, because it was also an energy of like indirectly like looking to help people more than helping myself. Because if I'm catching insight and my first thing is to want to share before I kind of fully digest it, then that's like, like almost like indirectly saying, hey, forget me, let me hurry up and share this with everybody else. So yeah, it's a balance because again, we're always going to be learning. Again, anybody who considers themselves a teacher is constantly a student as well. So, again, it's a slippery slope because you could be sitting back waiting for the perfect time to master everything. But who's going to master everything in this realm right now? You know what I'm saying? On that level, you know. But I get what you're saying. Like, it's like, yeah, gain a strong understanding about it, beforehand and go from there, most definitely. Because, yeah, it is like a want to establish like a certain strong awareness for yourself and then speaking, but yeah, you're constantly going to be growing. So you'll be waiting. Matter of fact, it'll never be the time to speak if you had to like know everything about everything before you actually had to say something.
like sometimes you don't really got to be teaching it too, right? Like a lot of times when you go into the teaching realm a lot, like it turns people into like gurus and things that people don't really necessarily want to be. Sometimes like if you're just getting the info like right away, like you could just leave it as like a message, you know what I mean? Like not really put anything attached to it and just be like, I just received this message. You might not know exactly 100% what it's about, but the stuff that you kind of have wisdom on that you want to actually like teach on, that's kind of like more like that's more of the stuff you experience. So like, yeah, you don't always got to look at it like, yo, I'm a teach. You could be like, I'm a guide. I'm gonna give a message.
I wasn't like a teacher, but like more of like a spirit guide, something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, I think that's why I would always like, get that disclaimer like, hey, everybody, I'm on my growth just as much as y'all. Like again, I feel like if ever I would consider myself a teacher, it would be if I'm teaching a crystal class, like a certain subject matter that I know I have like a certain little awareness of, all the insight on, what I'm saying, and teaching like, methodology. Like I feel like teaching is more so like if you're expressing methods, like, all right, breathe through this nostril, then breathe through that nostril, like almost like an instructor for a yoga class in that sense. That's a teach, like that's more of a teaching aspect, I feel, but for the general sense of like, bringing up insight or like energy updates, what I'm saying, of like what's going on that level. Yeah, it's more of like you would say like a spirit guide type of energy, in essence. I like to, I think I thought of the vibe I like to call it spiritual chaperone,
Yeah, your channel don't gotta be just exclusively one thing. You don't really gotta label it like that deep, you know what I mean? Like you can do really anything you want. You can do everything you want. It's just give out messages as you receive them. That's kind of like a channel, right? And then
right.
like you said, some things you have expertise on. You don't even have to teach anything if you don't want to. Like it's just really about your authentic expression of what you want to do.
Yeah, but I feel like this is like my soul mission. This is like what I came down here on this physical earth to do, this third dimensional prison planet. But this third dimensional, earth, so you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, my phone's about to die. I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna still be here, but
where you from, Quentin, if you don't mind me asking?
Dallas, Texas, man.
I was like, girl, he had to be from the South somewhere.
Yes, sir. You already know.
Already, man. Already. Yep. We definitely get it in, bro. But yeah, definitely, just trust your insight, bro, and don't be scared to share as you grow, because we all out here growing, bro. Like they got people who again, like people who consider teachers that I've learned from, and I'm watching them continuously grow as well. So I'm like, all right, we all out here just continuously growing, and again, yeah, having that balance of gaining a little, a little more mastery before we speak, but definitely, man.
Thanks. Peace, man.
You got it, bro. You got it.
Amber's muted too right now, so it's just me and you.
Oh wait, and are y'all muting you? Did you mute yourself, Amber?
Yeah, but you got it set up so that like you can't unmute yourself. You have to like unmute it for the other person. I don't know if she wants to be unmuted.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me. All right, now I got it to where y'all could unmute yourself. So it should have a button.
I was muted because I was driving and I didn't want to.
And matter of fact, I started off like that as a safety precaution, because I'm like, all right, I'm just throwing this out on YouTube. Of course, I sent out that divine insight, like, all right, those who, align don't have too much craziness flying through here, but I had it on the on that little perspective for that reason. But cool. We in here. And also I said we was gonna talk about crystals as well. But yeah. I know so recently too, like getting into this little discovery with the meteorites energy, and y'all gonna see a video I'm gonna post soon where I was sitting down watching 2001 Space Odyssey, movie by Stanley Kubrick, and I was sitting down. I just got this so I just got a Libyan desert glass tektite, and I just got this I forgot let me see if I got hold on. It's called, another name for it is octahedrite, but it's like muonia luster or something like that. And it was said to crash in Sweden or something like that. Let's see. So that show is pretty clear. But like I was watching, and it's like, damn, that's fire how this helped me to channel that message in that sense, like in an ironic situation, because as I'm watching 2001 Space Odyssey, spoiler alert, they were like talking about like this, it's like this obelisk or this black crystal, almost like a black mirror, but you could almost say like a black obsidian, and they found it on the moon or whatever. And it was like, yeah, it seems like it didn't like just impact it there. It seemed like it was implanted in the ground, like, like as if somebody like it wasn't a meteor, like as if somebody just planted it there, And again, like, cause I be feeling like that, with the meteorite vibe, I'm like, nah, that may be like a volcanic eruption, and then as that rock crashed to the ground, it has some type of impact that looked like a meteor, but and no coincidence that with it being a Stanley Kubrick movie, he's also pictured walking with like the NASA officials, and I'm catching myself. I'm not no them in the not no they type of energy, but like he's pictured with walking with NASA and possibly filming the moon landing and stuff like that. So it's like pretty dope to see within his movie it had like that little insight, and it's like and the little crystal, again, they talked about it as if it had the same stuff. It was like it's an iron meteorite, you know what I'm saying, that was probably implanted there, So I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool, because I was like, they may have like implanted in this dream world. We chose to participate with that type of storyline play out, but again, like, well, it's called the meteorite, but again, the energy is there. Like I do feel strong channels when I work with, like, say for instance, a moldavite or a Libyan glass, but I just feel like it's more to it than what's being promoted.
That vibranium meteorite, eh? From Black Panther.
Right, man, and this metal one, again, like this new one I got, it's like when I use a magnet to it, it does stick, so it does have a iron content in it, for sure. And as I've been working with it, the best way to describe it is like a grounded Uranus energy, if that makes sense. It's like yeah, you're grounded with it, and kind of got your earthly connection in that sense, but I feel like I'm getting like unique technological, almost like Mercury and Uranus. Like, matter of fact, if you had to talk about astrology, the energy feels like a conjunction of Mercury and Uranus energy, you know what I'm saying? But now, and as of lately working with a new crystal, because realizing this crystal's helped to deal with a lot of releasing a lot of delusional energy and like tapping into the self-love energy, but Shujilite, working with a Shujilite for the first time as well. That's kind of like a little cool vibe I've been connecting with. But if y'all got
you have all these unusual crystals.
Because I consider myself to be like a like, because that's, again, like with my purpose, I feel like I'm here to tap in with the crystal insight, and it's like being a real scientist. Like I read the books and stuff like that, but like I look to see how I feel from using it. So hence why I get all these different types of crystals and see how I feel when I'm working with it. And I know for sure, like, oh, all right, yeah, septarian, even though it's not a blue crystal, it works well with the throat chakra and being confident, you know what I'm saying, at speaking. Or again, like working with, again, like with the Shiva Lingam, I find myself, being more at peace with, understanding the oneness within the duality and kind of like meshing it together, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, if the yin and yang symbol could be a crystal, the Shiva Lingam would be one of the crystals, that represent that energy. But you know, again, like just the real scientist, you know, energy of like feeling it through for myself and not just regurgitating. Hence why, you know, I like this little book here. I would suggest this book. Let's see where I put it at. This book by Michael Ginger. But because
I've seen you say that a couple times.
because it breaks down the energies of, you know, the crystal systems, the energies of elements, the energies of colors. So that way you could sit down and break this down for yourself. You know, like this book right here, I'm be real with you, like in essence, with this type of explanation, this put them Judy Hall, nothing against Judy Hall and the Robert Simmons of the world, but it definitely put those little books out of business in essence, where it's like, you know, why would I want to listen to somebody else's opinion about this crystal when this person giving me the science about it, and I could kind of tap into this for myself. So I know, like, all right, this crystal black, oh, it does this. Or it got magnesium in it, it's gonna help with the nervous system. Oh, it got iron, it got nickel in it. Nickel helps with nightmares and stuff. Oh, most greenish crystals might have nickel or magnesium in it. Cool, you know, like again, like from that perspective. And as above, so below, you know, like again, like is crystals in the body, you know, because and like I would say, you know, we walk in crystals first and foremost. These just the external representations are helpers, you know.
Definitely.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying definitely. I was just agreeing.
What you was gonna say?
For me, I don't know. Personally, for me, I feel like I got more mastery over things like health and elements. Personally, that's kind of what I'm into.
All right.
Like elements, whether it's like through nature, you know, like kind of like the Buddhist sense, where it's like, you know, fire, wind, like that type of stuff. And then there's lots of elements, to be honest. Like you can go like beyond fire. Like once you get into cusps and all that type of stuff, it gets crazy. You got tons of elements, and then there's like primordial elements, and then you get into things like, you know, chemical elements, right? Alchemical elements. And then a lot of these deities and gods are technically like representations of these elements as well. So, and then when they start to materialize more and more, they become things like crystals, and you know what I mean? So that's kind of, yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, like realizing certain crystals, you know, are like channeling certain energies. Like you might channel more of like water energies or beings working with one crystal, or you might channel more of a fiery energy or fire beings working with a certain crystal, you know, and even just the essence of like you know, looking at how when the bodysuit decomposes, you know, it turns into gas. You know, a lot of gases is, you know, being expounded. So, you know, crystals with a lot of gas in essence, you know, may be connected with a lot of ancestral energy, well, physical ancestors, you know what I'm saying, on that level, you know. But yeah, and when you brought up the elements aspect, you know, the little in-betweens, I was like, yeah, that's something I've been kind of like.
I got a video on that one too, so you can just, it's called like Abilities Part 2 or something, so you can check that out. I go into it a little bit more. Because it's a big topic. It's a big ass
topic. Because I think about Louisiana. Louisiana is like, you know, like a steam energy. It's like a you know, water and fire type of energy. Also with that earth energy there too. But yeah, like,
yeah, you guys can see my camera, right?
Huh?
You guys can see my video, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see your face. Yeah.
This is Canada.
Whoa.
Oh, y'all snowed out there. What's the temperature?
Man, I don't even check anymore. It's like probably. I just know it's negative.
Matter of fact, I think about I got a brethren I knew moved up into Alaska, and he was showing me how he took some hot water or whatever and threw it in the air, and how that shit turned like frozen before it hit the ground. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, bruh, you know.
I could not do it.
I'm born here, right? So I had to figure out. That's why I kind of, that's kind of why I'm into elements and like health and all that type of stuff. Because like since I'm born here, like I'm first generation Ethiopian, right? And
Uh-huh.
like my parents, like they kind of, I don't know, they have a whole different culture, lifestyle, like diet, everything. So I had to really learn like what to eat here, and I couldn't really just eat anything. Like it doesn't, just being melanated and everything, we obviously need heat, right? So
It's
that was like one of the first things about me tapping into elements, right? Like just it's like yeah, it just your whole biochemistry, everything changes from being in an environment like this. I have to really start to figure things out like that. But yeah, no, the snow is an element in itself, trying to figure out how to like grow like oh man, it's it's a little bit tough out here. I'm like winter soldier type shit.
right. Look, I I for me, I think I only liked the winter growing up more so as a fashion energy. But I realized though on a spiritual level why I liked the winter time because I could feel like the thinness in the veil. So that's why I kind of, somewhat kind of like the winter time in essence, at certain points. And again, yeah, I'm January, my solar return. So yeah, I was definitely in the womb when it was cold outside for sure. But
I got
oh, what you was gonna
I got
say?
no, I got used to it for sure now. And like I swear if you just invest in one good jacket, you're straight. If you invest in one really good jacket.
And shit, as you saying that too, cause that's another thing, like paying attention to how things may shift, on like how the earthly plane and just weather and all that, I feel is gonna shift in some way, form, or fashion. Cause I think about Louisiana, like, it's like a lot more cold for like wintertime around here. Like it done snowed back to back so many times out here when growing up, it was on like a rare thing. And like now it's like shit, you could almost expect that it may fucking snow in Louisiana for the winter time. And it's like, all right, something something gonna shift, you know what I'm saying? Some type of little energy. And I do my best to not get too caught up in like the little, I don't call it conspiracies, it's kind of evidence there, but just thinking about like certain shifts and why, certain things move into like the Austin area, like Texas, and because it basically it's almost like they're moving LA to Austin and probably about to make, the San Antonio, Austin little area like a San Diego, LA, type of little vibe, but
They're
you know,
trying. They're definitely trying.
Where you from, Miss Amber?
I'm in Denton. Yeah, I'm in Denton, Texas. So it's
All
like
right.
Dallas, just above. So
All right. We got two Texas people in the house. All right.
yeah.
Word. Nah, yeah, it's definitely some type of little vibe there. But which I've been kind of feeling I want to pass through Texas. 'Cause that's another thing too, doing this video and starting to like, reach out and connect with people more because I feel that, as a vehicle manifest, I want to like travel and, holler at certain soul fam, and stop in certain little places, connect and stuff like that. So, also just seeing, where everybody at, which I kind of get an idea of it from like mailing out jewelry and stuff like that. But, definitely from a YouTube perspective too, like seeing, who all
Have
out
you
here.
have you seen certain places where it's like most likely people will order from you or anything like that? Like have you, I don't know, tracked it?
Wait, say that again.
Like have you tracked it almost like a lot of people order from this area or a lot of people from this area kind of like order from you?
I know the Florida area was pretty strong early in the game. A lot of Carolinas people, so little Carolinas, New York area, pretty kind of picked up. Definitely the Cali area. A lot of people out in Cali, to the point when I went to LA for the first time, it was like, damn, like people knew me out there, like I lived around the corner from, more than, some people out here. But the Cali vibe as well. Texas, but those are just some that kind of just ring strong. Cause honestly, it is sprinkled. Like I definitely like saw, from Michigan, Wisconsin, and even to some of the international vibes, definitely got a lot of Europe people out there watching and connecting. Australia and like the New Zealand little area too. But yeah, out here, those that I name, mostly again, Carolinas, Texas, Florida, uh, New York area, but gotta pass by and holler at everybody though. I definitely feel that vibe because I see again like that North Node energy. It's like I get kind of, I feel like if I'm too in an area that's too familiar for too long, I kind of feel some kind of way about that. And it's like, all right, I don't mind having like, that home base, in a certain area, something of that nature, but definitely being able to, move around in some way, form, or fashion.
Mm.
And speaking of like working with the crystals, to also be able to move around and be able to tap in with going on some mining trips and stuff like that too, so I definitely want to look into that. But yeah.
Seems like fun. Oh, I wanted to ask you. Okay, so I ordered from you, right? This beautiful pendant. I cannot take it off.
Was that the ruby one?
Yes.
All right.
I will tell you, I actually had a dream, right? So it was like maybe 3 days after I got it, like I was wearing it. I was like, I need to clear this. Like I need to like let it settle or something. So I took it off and I just like laid it there. And like I had this dream and it was like these almost like angels or like bodyguards kind of a thing. And we were going on this trip. And like at some point in the trip, we like sat down and it was like some type of table. And they were like, put on this table anything that you feel like you'll need for this journey. It's not far, it's not going to be super dangerous, but just what do you think you need, right? So I put like maybe like a pad and some paper and like a clock. It was like just some little stuff, right? And then they all came around and they like put something as well. And when I looked closer, it was like rubies in all different shapes, right? So then when I woke up, I was like, what was that about? And I started just like, automatic writing, kind of like getting into like the channeling thing. And they said, like, don't take that off right now. Like, you got to wear that. So I've just been wearing it ever since.
Look, I know just on my part, for the most, like I put a general blessing on everything I do for self-empowerment. So everything is blessed with the energy of self-empowerment. It's like, all right, may this piece, help to amplify a person connecting with their inner intuition and their own insight, you know what I'm saying? In essence, to amplify spiritual independence,
Nice.
like, so you could kind of tap in for yourself. Doesn't mean we, again, like if you're introvert by, nature, of course, but I think when I say spiritual independent, doesn't mean like you have to be to yourself all the time, but definitely having that ability again, like where you're strongly connected with your intuition and inner insight, But
yeah, I could tell it felt really strong, whenever I first got it. But like, what was I gonna say about this? Oh, I've been using it for my the Mars return, right? So Mars is passing through Scorpio, and so that's where my like natal placement is. So I'm gonna wear it at least until like that transit is over, and just like see how it develops, how the energy develops over that transit. So I've just been having fun.
Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Hey,
What? Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Okay, I'm just gonna drive, so I had to switch phones and switch to my headphones and all that.
Man, you look, man,
hey,
you
bro.
good. Oh, what you got,
I
Quentin?
also wanted to say, I remember, you remember that giveaway you had, and you gave away that bracelet?
Ooh, I done had a few of them. That's a general broad. Well, like on on a video or something like that?
Yeah, it was on a live stream. I was on Instagram and I won that contest. The name was Quasi on Instagram.
All right, all right.
Yeah, and like I actually moved. I never got to get it.
All
I was
right,
just
all right. We we
yeah,
we
but I was just saying.
we could
Like,
reschedule something. I don't know if I have any bracelets at the moment, but I may have a pendant for you or something like that. I will not say something like that. I may have a pendant for you for sure.
sure.
And where was it where did it get shipped to?
I got shipped to my old house in Saxy.
What at?
It was in Saxy.
All right. That's
Saxy,
a
Texas.
city in Texas.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Cool, cool. But no, bro, I most definitely uh resend something out for you. That's no problem. I definitely
No, it's all good. I was just saying, you know what I'm saying?
cause look, I still got it's funny Aaron up in here. I still got his terminated quartz sitting right for shipment. I just gotta see
Yeah,
Oh, word.
that's what it
it.
was too. It was the terminated course. I remember. That's tough.
Oh, and Quentin, since that must be the energy. Since I got some terminated quartz pieces, that'll be the piece I send you. I send you a terminated quartz pendant.
That's
Yes,
funny.
sir.
Yo, so wait, so actually, wait, I got two things to say real quick. But one
Right.
is it's funny that you mentioned traveling. I'm planning on doing that probably in the next coming year or two. I'm becoming to the States and trying to travel and do more things. Cause I got like past my YouTube, I got some other things I'm doing with like food and health, and I'll talk about that another time maybe with you. But so if we're ever in the same place, I'll come link it up with you. You know.
Yeah, bro. Look, cause I know I'm gonna be, doing my best to like, hey, everybody, about to be, here or wherever, you know what I'm saying, and we'll connect like that. Cause yeah, I definitely wanna, like again, I just realized, cause part of me being in Louisiana was a little bit of having to work on some attachment issues, just honestly speaking. So it's like, like and what's funny though is like a balance situation because they do have some people who activating out here that I was meant to connect with and see like, all right, they got this little person back home, and all right, this little person back home, and then it's like, all right, but now it's time for me to move because it's getting a little too like just like again like I'm ready to move around. So it's like
Right.
like definitely connecting, and again, like going through different little states and stuff. Cause I also thought about, as I'm bringing it up and as you asked Amber earlier, also like the Midwest area, like the Illinois, like Missouri area, Tennessee. So yeah, I definitely gotta connect. And that's what I was gonna say. Cause seeing like again, like those genuine vibes are like where you come across people that you never knew in this lifetime or met physically, but it's like, damn, it's like you feel more familiar than, somebody I grew up with, you know what I'm saying, type of energy. So, once I really got to see that, it's like definitely got to be able to, travel and move around.
Amber, you
Yeah, it's
said you
that.
was in Denison?
In Denton, Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know where Bonham is at? Or Plano?
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be around Plano a lot.
Nice.
And that I used to they used to have a lot of people that went to Southern with me that was from the little Plano area. Still one
Real
like Plano.
Plano.
Y'all.
It's that root chakra healing too, eh? Like going back home and just kind of making sure you're good. Like if you think about like a rocket ship or anything like that, it has to be able to take off like off the ground. You know what I mean? Like it has to be able to, like, it's that contrast when you jump off the ground. Like you have to have that foundation to jump off of. So when you go back home and fix things up, it's like
that's how you can really travel correctly and like just like take off, you know?
Most
Nice.
definitely. Most definitely. Cause again, and what it was for me, it was like cause like out in Cali, I was kind of almost like on some backpacking vibes and like, staying at somebody's residence, and here it is where I did have like, a home that was gifted to me, through inheritance by my auntie or whatever. So it's like, here it is. I'm like trying to make things happen on the road. And I do have a whole little home, and I do kind of value that space to myself. So it's like, all right, and again, like with everything, it's a double-edged sword, it's like next door to my mom's crib. So it's like, but it's like a blessing. I
Correct.
find the blessings in it, you know what I'm saying? Like, seeing the connections there, but it's like, all right, got that grounding. And like you say, it's like that sturdy foundation in order to, to jump off again. Like, and I just think about, as you were saying that, I was just thinking about the microcosmic orbit, of like from the root up to the crown back to the root, it's like just it's nothing but cycles, it's just different, sometimes we could be in a loop-de-loop that's in the same spot, or sometimes, get to switch it up and it spiral up. But again, it's a loop nonetheless, because even if it's ascending, you'll still kind of have some familiar signatures of when it was just the same loop down here in that sense, so it's like,
Yeah, because like 2018, I was gonna head out, but I didn't really want to be like too deep on the backpacking vibes back then, So I just wanted to make sure, like, kind of like what you said, kind of like link up with my family, because I was already out, like I was already doing my own thing for like probably like 5 years already, but I didn't want to hit the States like be 8 years deep. Like I kind of just need to like go home, regroup, you know what I mean? Get set up. And then when you take off this time, it's like you don't want a failed rocket ship launch, that that's deadly.
Bro, look, I get exactly what you're saying, bro. Look. Shit. As a matter of fact, it's funny because it's a double entendre of the Capricorn and the goat energy and not being used as a scapegoat. But I think about like laughing at like my Capricorn energy of like having to transmute that, wanting to control things, and how that then got me, in some tough situations, because it's like let me try to control, because that makes sense. I was like, I remember Dolo made a joke about that, and I'm like, yeah, that shit is real. But it was like, Virgos get the case for like being the most like organized, or like trying to like make sure things is like analyzed and structured. It was like, but quiet is kept, man. It's the Capricorns that's really on some like controlling, like trying to like, that's why, it's expressed by the Devil Tarot card and connected with that energy. It's like, yep, like trying to
make it work.
control. But I'm proud of myself, because I definitely again balanced it out with that Cancer Aries energy, and with me traveling and stuff. And when I was out on the beach in Venice, that definitely broke that was like basically I was like my Capricorn boot camp, you know what I'm saying, to like, let go of some of that control, a lot of that control, honestly. Like that shit bust that control ass out there on that beach, you know what I'm saying? But again, like in a compassionate way and in a very helpful way, you know what I'm saying? Because it had days where, again, like, it was teaching me to stop trying to, be so meticulous about the way I was like, just going about my day, like, bro, lay on the beach for a second, bro. It's right behind you. Like,
Yeah, I be trying to be on that beach, man. Like you saw what it's like out here.
Because honestly, that's what I'm like, and kind of tapping back into the astrology aspect, like with that stellium energy, like is in all the overworking houses in Essence. At least two of them is in the Virgo house for me, and also in the Capricorn house. And I've been kind of like, again, like, really looking at things and like, yeah, bro, I think I don't want to, like, yeah, I want to have things organized and stuff like that, but I do want to be able to be a little more free and enjoy things, and not be so like, like want to have more of a, a flow, from a structured standpoint, but just, more of a flow to things,
Yeah, like more abstract, a little less rigid and everything, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I feel that. Tell us a little bit about Turbulent though, since we're on that.
What was that?
Tell us a little bit about Tourmaline since we are on that.
Oh, shit. Well, with the tourmaline for sure. To me, it is one of the best crystals for, like, one of the best crystals for quote unquote protection from negativity. But again, it's protection from your own negativity. So again, like helping you to not be a vibrational match to attracting those certain energies, or if they are, showing up, you're able to have like a strong sturdiness about your energy, and again, like to face it with more of a courageous energy. And tourmaline is one of the few crystals other than quartz that's piezoelectric. So just by, tapping on your piece of tourmaline, it actually emits like some electricity. So tourmalated quartz would definitely be like, a strong little electrical surge to it, and tourmaline is kind of like it reminds me of like the garnet family, where it's like a bunch of different types, all in that one family, like, so you got the blue, the green, now, if we, again, now, as I was talking about the protection from negativity aspect, that's the black tourmaline. Green tourmaline is pretty unique because out of most crystals that I read upon and worked with, it helps to tap in with the heart chakra from more of a masculine perspective, and that was pretty like unique, because most crystals kind of like do like when they are tapping in with the heart chakra, in most cases, it's more of a divine feminine energy to it, but tourmaline kind of have like that, it's almost like Saturn in the background, you know what I'm saying? Like that father figure type of little structured energy kind of in the background with the green tourmaline. So it has that energy. And speaking of, as you talk about like connecting with health and things of this nature, that green tourmaline would be great for connected. Like if you're a person that like to learn about herbs and work with herbs, is actually a great crystal to connect and learn with herbs. And I think about also watermelon tourmaline with the rubellite in it, because it also has like a little lithium content, and it's kind of real good to like soothe the nerves and stuff like that. Because I'm realizing, again, as I did that video on magnesium recently, and how it helps with the nervous system and helping to not, to where the nervous system not so excitable from like, in essence, external stimulants, because that's also a thing to tourmaline too, is it kind of has somewhat of that shungite energy where it kind of helps with, protection from like all the electrical energies around us. Because I realized that's a thing too, it's like all that shit, again, like, as I said, not to get lost in the sauce about it, but, again, like it does have that, that harmful aspect, everything in moderation, but with all the electrical devices around us, tourmaline will help to like dampen those effects on it and how overwhelming it could be on our energy field. But other than that, and again, it'll have like a lot of cases, sometimes it'll have mica inclusions in it. And again, that mica kind of close relative to lepidolite and muscovite, which muscovite is like say for instance, muscovite is what's in green aventurine. The little flakes that's in green aventurine is like a green muscovite, green fuchsite is the name, but bringing it back to the mica perspective, real good for calming the nerves and calming anxiety. And again, like as I say that, like helping to calm it, but again, with working with crystals, they are literally helpers, you know what I'm saying? Like it's calming the nerves for us to kind of allow for ourselves to appreciate our anxieties, to understand the roots of our anxieties, you know what I'm saying? But like to actually, tap into doing the deeper work or the inner work with it, you know what I'm saying? Because hence why, they're also, just like with anybody, just like working with another human being. If I'm over here barely doing any work and I got so-and-so doing most of the work, they get to a point like, all right, bro, I'm out of here, bro. You just got me out here, you know what I'm saying, doing everything. you know, and hence why, you know, Moldavite, a lot of cases people experience that with Moldavite because and realizing the psychology of it, you know, psychologically wise, you know, just taught to be more dependent on things of that nature, like a crystal or whatever, like, ooh, and then it's promoted that way through, you know, the new age movement of like, oh yeah, just get this citrine and this citrine is just gonna do this for you. Just get this crystal and it's just gonna do like, yeah, it's gonna work and have a certain energy to it, but it's to help you to take the necessary actions as well, you know, because I done had those stiff and harsh lessons in certain areas with, you know, working with crystals in that manner. It's like, bro, you gotta give us a break. It's like in so many words, like, fool, like how many times we gotta help you to speak up so you could speak up in this situation. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, whatever the case, like if you're working with a throat chakra crystal, you know, it's like, it's not just, oh yeah, I got my lapis on, look at the gold specks in it. Oh yeah, it's like, but it's also there, you know, for you to speak up in a certain situation or be more truthful in the situation or whatever the case may be, you know. So no, yeah, just not forgetting, you know, how much they are helpers. And honestly, I keep it real. Like, again, you know, it's everything happens vibrationally internally first. You know, it literally is just a physical representation of an energy that we kind of tapping into ourselves, you know, if that makes sense. You know, like as I started to express to the universe, like, all right, I need to love myself more. I need to get my mental straight because I feel like my intuition was a little like, you know, off a little bit and things of this nature, you know, and starting to ask to work on it, you know, and that's when Shuja light appears, you know what I'm saying? Or when I'm like, you know, I need to, you know, buckle down on my confidence and willpower, you know, that's when the Libyan desert glass come. Because what I was gonna say too, like I could feel them before they come, you know, like when they're in the mail, before it even get here, I'm like, damn. It's like I'm
So
feeling it before it even, you know what I'm saying, before it even come in, I kind of tapping into that energy already, you know. So, you know, again, it's kind of like how I explained with books before. It's like, you know, the books is just the physical confirmation, you know, in essence, like you getting ready to tap into that and acknowledge that energy inside of you, or like the root word of education, educare, draw it out. You know what I'm saying? Like you're getting ready to draw it out inside of you. So now the astrology book, this is a simple book, but now this little book appears because you know, you starting to ask for that and tap into that internally. So, you know, it shows up, you know, secondarily, so to speak. But
Also with the crystals, like, you know, how you were saying for them to overwork, or like, I feel like sometimes there are some crystals that won't overwork. It's like they'll just leave or they'll break, or, you know, it's like they let go of the energy somehow because they're just like, you're not listening, you're not paying attention. So it's like they will shift however they need to shift because you're not shifting, you know.
Man, man, I wonder where that ring went. I wonder where that pendant went. I wonder, like, damn, what happened? You know, because even with doing bracelets and stuff like that, like my jewelry is impeccable when it comes to enduring, like, you know, like lasting a long time. So when people would have like complaints of like, oh, my bracelet broke or something like that, I I already get the insight intuitively, like, hey, no, that ain't got shit to do with your craftsmanship. You know, just like also shit is like, you know, like that just has to deal with, you know, that that energy got overwhelmed, so the shit popped or whatever the case may be, you know. Especially when it would be like one or two examples, like here it is, while I'm mailing stuff all across the world and everybody got all kind of pieces, and then it's just one or two people having those little experience, you know. I caught early in the game, you know, that, you know, again, it's just probably being overwhelmed, and bringing it back to like the Moldavite case, you know. It's like, you know, and I did a video on that, like where also like spiritually looking for like shortcuts and stuff like that, and using Moldavite is like the, like, oh yeah, just work that shit, Moldavite. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm gonna show you how to work that shit, all right. You know, peace, you know, I'm gonna holler at you, you know what I'm saying? And what's dope is seeing my growth, because I ain't lost a Moldavite in a couple of years. Like now when I get Moldavite, it lasts. Like I ain't none of the Moldavites I've been getting, like, well, this is a new one, and any Moldavite that I don't have anymore is because I chose to like share it. Either I gave it away or put it in a piece of jewelry, but it stopped being because it's just like, oh shit, it's gone now. Because that's what happened one time in Venice, like, well, my book sack got taken and my Moldavite was in it. And there was a bunch of things the universe was like, it was a bunch of things in this book sack that you wasn't gonna let go, even though it was telling you to let go. So we just had to just let the whole book sack just, and to show me that it was that, literally right after my book sack got stolen, I got like the most donations I ever got, ever, to resupply things, but it was just like, you just needed to let go of that, with some things you was holding on to that needed to go, but definitely again, like with the crystals, if it pops or anything of that nature. And as a recent, I've been feeling a vibe of working with root rakshas a lot lately. I like the vibration of root rakshas, and I've been tapping into kind of like that Kush Empire / Hindu connection on the ancestor level,
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, right. But it definitely like I definitely feel a vibe from it. And matter of fact, as I'm bringing that up, also Peter's site, working with Peter's site for the energy field, and realizing again, like with the book with that I was just showing y'all, like the reason why a Peter site or a lapis lazuli has that kind of almost like wholesome vibe to it is because it has so many different little crystal structures in it, and things to kind of like balance everything off, and some people ask me about that, like, well, is it a such thing as working with too much crystals or things of this nature? I just simply say, hey, you're a walking crystal. Is it just one element present in you? No, you got oxygen, magnesium, or you got all kind of little elements inside of you. It ain't like, oh, I'm only oxygen for right now. I'm only magnesium for right now. Now, of course, we could tap in on that level and say, hey, inner magnesium, tap in. But again, you also got to be aware to have magnesium in your diet on that level, word to, what you speaking to, Bridget Rod with the healthiness, but, you definitely could like summon, the elements inside the body as well, and again,
it's crazy.
But yeah,
it's crazy.
And seeing the different little connections, calcium crystals helping with like DNA and ancestral connections, even though I've learned that, after listening to the Bhagavad Gita a couple of times, a couple of parts rung out to me where I'm like, all right, I need to switch up certain little aspects or approaches to my spiritual growth as far as like dealing with like ancestor worship or like just the way I do altar work and stuff like that. It's like, all right, back off of doing it so externally, of like putting out plate of foods for the ancestor type of vibe. I don't do that no.
Right.
It is just a me thing. I ain't realizing, if anything, it's like, all right, I could just tap in with you. You know what I'm saying? Like I could just say, auntie so-and-so,
Exactly.
appreciate you, you know what I'm saying? Love you. You know what I'm saying? I do a meditation to connect. I could put that plate of food in the astral plane if it's that, if it's that crucial, you know what I'm saying, on that level, because I do kind of feel like that's almost like kind of keeping the attachment. It's almost like, keeping the attachment or enabling them kind of being attached to this realm or being like a ghost in essence. So, and again, I'm still kind of tapping in with that perspective and realizing to each his own on your growth. You know what I'm saying? Some people that may do that, there's, again, with the oneness aspect, that it's unique experience, it's all how you do it. Because even that's talked about in the Bhagavad Gita. That's why I liked it about, again, that little breakdown of like, it's like, like Krishna was telling Arjuna, you're going to war with people who look like your family and stuff like that, and kind of is your families and your gurus. But at the same time, y'all interconnected, and it's like a show. It's like a, it's like a, it's like it's a movie. We playing different roles, and it's like a school as well. It's different levels to our growth and different levels to what we connect with and how we connect. No one person is right or wrong to that. It's just being aware of what's best for you, and not just going along with what somebody else is saying or doing. And that's what, speaking of doing a YouTube channel, speaking on a lot of these things, hence why I always had that cover my own ass energy of like letting people know, like, take what resonate, leave what don't. Just because I'm speaking on doing altar work or, doing these types of things don't mean like, oh yeah, well, I got to do it too because Universal doing it. Like, no, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you take what resonate, leave what don't, like,
And originally that type of stuff, like I don't know, a lot of people call it like lesser magic and stuff like that. A lot of times, like, that type of stuff was really just like a conduit, to be honest, until like people really learned how to, tap into that stuff either internally or through different mechanisms. Like with etymology and things like that, the reason I like that type of stuff a lot is because you can do things like just use words and like, like chanting, or not even just chanting, but like ancient languages, things like that, just to invoke the energy rather than using something external, right? So
man, because honestly, that's what I've been implementing a lot lately, and hence why I see why that connection to Sanskrit language is so strong, because it has such a it has less of a dual nature in it, like English. As a matter of fact, like that video I did, like angle-ish. You know what I'm saying? It's like all different types of angles. If I say a affirmation where I'm like, I'm grateful for this apple, man, you could be talking about your Adam's apple, an apple that grow on a tree, an apple phone. You know what I'm saying? It's like so many different apples, you know what I'm saying? And so many different perspectives, even to the word negative and positive in the English language, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, just being aware, hence why it seems like we double talking so much, or like having to, cover our ass when we say, oh yeah, it's about tapping in with the negative energies. But again, from the perspective of like a battery, and having to kind of explain it so much, but yeah.
I think also with your ancestors, it's like they'll tell you what they want as well, like how they want to connect and like what's important for you now, because I feel like it's the whole thing of like remembering that they're already inside of you. So it's like the altar work is just to remember that reflection, almost like to look at yourself in the mirror. It's like, this is happening, and just remember that, but it's like they tell you how to change it up, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you need to change something, you're going to feel it. And if you try to stay the same just because everyone else is like, oh, this is the way that you do it, it's like, no, you can't do that. You have to listen to your specific ancestors,
Right. Yep.
Yeah, it's that inner work, right?
Yeah.
Right. Again, it's just symbolic of, like, again, like that apple or orange that you put for your auntie, or that Snicker bar or whatever. This, for example, it's like a symbolic energy of, connection, or a symbolic thank you. Like, thank you, auntie so-and-so, or cousin so-and-so, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, in that sense of it. But yeah, it's like really, tapping in on an internal level. I was jokingly saying it'd be dope to see an Osmosis Jones type of movie from a spiritual perspective. Like, so instead of like a white blood cell, would actually be like the energies in each chakra, but from a microcosmic perspective, and how that looks, within the body. That'd be pretty dope.
No, for real. I just rewatched that too a few months ago.
All right. Matter of fact, cause they Netflix, they did it was pretty cool. I kind of was like, all right, I'm used to the concept, but it still had like pretty new perspectives. But it was called Blood Cells at Work or something like that on Netflix.
Oh yes.
Yep, so it kind of had that same little vibe, but yeah, again, and that's why I vibe so heavy with, should I say so strong with the law of correspondence. It's like that, as above, so below, as within, so without. Because to me, out of most things, it allows for you to get a lot of aha moments without having to read literature. Like, it's just like, all right, my body does this, then this must happen outside my body. Or if this happened outside my body, the same relationship must be going on inside my body. Because even with learning about like the elements in crystals, it's like manganese is the antagonist to iron, and vice versa. You know, like manganese in the body kind of stops the absorption of iron, or iron stops the absorption of manganese. And when you look at it from the crystal perspective in the crystal kingdom, manganese crystals are like your rhodonite, rhodochrosite, you know, your pink crystals, you know, maybe a little bit in rose quartz, but it's like unconditional love and strong empathy, you know, where iron is more Mars and Aries, like, you know, it's like, you know, it's like a stronger, more assertive energy, you know what I'm saying? Not so passive, you know, so, you know, seeing those differences are, you know, magnesium and calcium, I think is too, like, well, calcium helps to cause like clotting for healthy reasons. And then magnesium is meant to prevent blood clotting. And so, and again, putting that into perspective is like, all right, here it is, where if you personify magnesium as Maggie from down the street, and you know what I'm saying, and Cal, you know what I'm saying, Cal and Maggie, you know, they kind of be beefing a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they still on one accord, you know. Because I think one of my best explanations, again, like, you know, with the Shiva Lingam dual oneness, is like the energy of the organs in the body. You know, it's like the liver has to know to be its unique self enough to carry out its, you know, its duty, but not to the extreme where it's like, hey, I'm the liver and everybody got to answer to me, you know what I'm saying? Type of energy is like just enough uniqueness, you know what I'm saying, to allow for the whole picture to, you know, to work you know, more fluently, you know. Same thing with the chakras and, you know, all that, but
Right.
You know how you were saying about like the personification almost of each of the things. That's kind of what helped me like understand astrology a little bit better with the aspects, you know, between each planet or whatever. So it's like I would think about the planet as a person, and it's like, what personality would this planet have? But then it's like if they're in a house, that house is almost like the room that they're in, or the kind of building that they're in, right? So it's like
right.
if this person was in this room talking to this other person, it's like now it all makes sense. It's like this big, I don't know, like a movie almost, or like a cinematic like progression. It's like, oh, now I get what's going on. It's not just like a flat piece of paper. It's like these are actually happening inside of me constantly, you know, like on a cyclical basis. But it's like it's all one part and one part and one part, and they all kind of do something together. So
Nah, that's real. And as you said that, I kind of also thought about like movies and why I also kind of like, you know, it's funny because you like, I realized to not just be geared towards quote unquote like sci-fi movies, to also see that there's like occult and esoteric breakdowns in movies that don't speak on nothing, you know, occult or esoteric, you know, where these characters in the movie could be representative of chakras or something, but it's just done to where it's like completely from a human perspective in essence. But when you look at it, it's like you can see the parallel. So I start to like to break down movies that seem like they don't have no connection to spirituality, but really explaining something spiritual, you know. So
nice.
yeah, that definitely. But I think that's why though I like anime, because I always point out like with anime and cartoons and stuff like that, you know, and just that perspective of like, you know, as we're tapping in right now, you know, with, you know, our astrology signs and stuff like this, you got like, you know, so and so got more of the water element they're tapping in with, you know, so their character be more emotional and more, you know what I'm saying, tapped into the subconscious or a little more psychic, you know what I'm saying, like, but just, you know, and peeping out like how each character is uniquely themselves, to the point where they have their little moments of fussing with each other, but even though they're on the same team, you know, like it's like, again, like just seeing that whole little balance and connection. Most definitely.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, hey, do you still do psychedelics?
I
So I know
haven't
you did videos on it. I used to watch your psychedelic videos
I,
on your journey.
I haven't taken any in a minute. I want to say I haven't been on a mushroom trip. It hasn't been that long. I want to say shit, maybe like a year. a year since I took some mushies. And it was also too because from taking them for a minute and seeing like that this realm, like in general, this realm is getting to a place where it's literally kind of getting like a psychedelic experience, even without the psychedelics, you know. So it's like, all right, I really don't, you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't nothing I really gotta you know, dive deeper or take it for, except for the aspect of like I do wanna make sure I keep the psilocybin in close range because I do like microdosing and it's healthy to microdose with the mushrooms, the psilocybin. But you know, as far as like, and I keep it real, the little astronaut in me feel like I got one good little, probably one more little dive deep, you know, to dive
Yeah,
in
boy,
there.
I'm like,
But for the most
real.
part, like you know, I done got what I need to get from a lot of those experiences. At this point, I would just like to work with the psilocybin for the serotonin effects and the sharpening of the extrasensory perception, you know, sharpening of the eyesight and different senses, you know, but definitely like on a mood perspective and for just to still have like, you know, because sometimes I might have like, you know, like or look at it medicinally, like, you know, if I do feel like I'm dealing with a certain block that I'm not catching, you know, take a little mushies to allow for my little onion, the subconscious layers to fall back like an onion and like, all right, this is the loop. This is all right, you know, because that's literally what it is. It just breaks down the lesson loops or the loops within our experience for us to really like key in on it, you know what I'm saying, in essence. But
Right.
yeah.
And I
Me, I
also
would
wanted
say
to ask this question. Am I the only one that sees this? Have you guys ever go outside and like stargaze? And like whenever you close your eyes, like I get like psychedelic visuals without even being on psychedelics. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
yeah,
Not
I do.
and I was gonna say, yeah, but not from just the simple aspect of stargazing. I feel like for me, it comes through with my breathing techniques.
Breathe.
Like when I'm doing breath work. Cause matter of fact, cause even as of recently, like because working with Moldavite, if a psychedelic had to be a crystal, you know, it would be Moldavite. Cause I was doing my mantras today, like, and I was going through each mantra. I'm like, damn, I'm like, bro, I feel like I need to ground. I had to take it off for a second and like put it to the side. And it's like, damn, like, and usually like in the trip, it's like, all right, I need to ground myself right now because I'm too in a high chakra. We got straight panther in the house. But yeah, you know, it's like definitely like feeling like all right, I need to ground myself and bring it down a little bit, you know.
Right.
For me, it's like I don't know. It just depends on how in tune with meditations and like because like for me, I don't know. Like sometimes like I'll go deep into like just taking time to sleep and dream and like get deeper and deeper into like just into that realm and everything. So if I'm like tapped into that realm, then it's pretty easy. Like I could just like sit down, like you said, kind of breathe for a second, and then it's almost like yeah, it really depends too on like I think your chart and stuff like that too. If you have a lot more I would say like water and fire energy, it's probably a little bit easier, especially water, for you to tap into other realms. And also with the mushrooms too, I would say like it's really good to like maybe just prove, like kind of not really to utilize it too much, but like just to prove that a lot of this stuff is like real. And then like for me, I was trying to learn how to tap into like a lot of these psychedelic type of trips sober, you know what I'm saying? And that really like strengthens your ability to like, really do that type of to really tap into like different stars and things like that. Because once you really can tap into different stars and all that, like that's how you really start to like do interdimensional travel just on a soul level, right? So that's some advanced stuff for sure. It's good though.
And as you say that too, like I think about like pranayama breathing, because when I first started in my earlier stages of my growth, coming across like cryo yoga techniques, you know, and that would kind of help to like induce almost like a psychedelic effect, you know. But as you talk about like again from the aspect of like stargazing from that perspective, I never done it from a stargazing perspective, but I had like again like meditations. Like I would just go there in meditations, like from doing my breathing and visualize like connecting like with the Sirius energy, you know. I remember one time, looking to connect with the Lyran energy, but I did, it wasn't as vivid as the one with the connection with Sirius, but with the Sirius connection, like I just remember like kind of seeing the beings, and then I put my hand out, and they like drop a particle in my hand, and like it just made me drop back into my body on some type of vibe, you know. But it was like I don't know, it wasn't like a long experience, but again, like I tapped into that perspective from a meditation. So in essence, breathing techniques, and one time with smoking, like I smoked a little herb, and I did like a certain like strong little breath, and that kind of almost had like an out of body experience in essence, like where I literally felt like I was standing over myself for a little second on some Doctor Strange vibes, and then kind of went back into my body. In which that's another thing too. I've been kind of chilling out on the herb a lot lately too.
Yeah, for me it's easier without. But when I chill out on Kush, it's actually it's way easier for me to do it without Kush. Like Kush for some, I swear, being like Ethiopian or a Kushite, like Kush is like my kryptonite. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Like for real, like
it is like, but when I be off of that, like if I be just tapping into the sun, and especially geographical locate, like if I go to certain locations, like what I try to do is because like different geographical locations, a lot of times they're tied to different stars, right? So like what I'll do is like I'll try to get in that trance state, and when you kind of go into like that out of body, like what you said, when you're kind of like looking down at your body type thing, I try to see the location from like what it was like before, we probably like made all these houses or whatever's there. Try to see it from that perspective, and it's like really easy to go into that trance mode, and then go into that zone, get into that place that you're trying to get to. And like for me, it lets me tap into like the history of a location, understand the energies that are there, kind of like what happened in the past, where we're at now with it, where it's going to go in the future, and then I just kind of gain the records of the place. So that's kind of how it is. Like abilities are a very interesting thing. Like it's really dependent on like your chart, your name, your genetics. Just there's so many things that can affect your abilities. Like so if you can stargaze and kind of get into that realm right away, like that's probably just a natural ability of yours,
Right. Because
it's like every time I do it, like I don't know why. When I sun gaze, I still get visuals, but like every single time I stargaze, like instantly, like I just project it to a whole nother dimension every time.
Yeah, it like the brethren brought up, I definitely feel like it has a lot to do with our natal charts and stuff like that. Because again, for me, I feel like more of that earth energy, where I could visualize things, but a lot of times it's not always as vivid, but I still could sense it. I know a lot of times when I do meditations, like doing a picture in my root, being connected underneath my feet, and then seeing it go above my head, and I literally see myself almost like get to a size where this earthly plane seems like I'm sitting on something small, like where, let's just say for instance, where my foot could be the size of the whole Louisiana in essence, like that type of stuff, or even seeing like the grid work of like how nature is connected, and I guess it's from psychedelic journeys in essence, kind of breaking down that a little bit, where I could kind of sense things without the physical boundaries, if that makes sense. But for me, it's more of a sensing than it is like a strong visual aspect. So I could, my seeing is more so like a awareness and more of a feeling, and not always so vivid. Because I had to understand that. I had to get that download, like where don't feel like you're off or something wrong with you because you're not into that same type of meditation or seeing things on the same level as somebody else. We all got our little unique connections and stuff like that, like you say. with natal chart aspects and ancestry, different things. But again, it's like finding your magic power. Because even also for me at one time, like when I wasn't going into the dream realm as much, I would pick up on all the signs of it during my waking state. Like, so literally like everything I would, be able to like map out and see like what was the underneath mean. And even though it was like humans doing this or whatever, like I could kind of see like the underneath messages of the spirit, just talking to me or different little, energetic connections. So what up, Straight Panther? You able to mic up, huh? You could hear us. I know I think I did. It's still to where you. All right, yep, allow participants to unmute themselves. Yep. Cool. All right. But yeah, bro. We're
Hello?
Yep. That
Yeah, can
that
you hear me?
yep, I can hear you, bro.
Yeah, I'm on my cell phone.
All right, word. No, yeah, we just going in. We've been running it for a little second. We done went through certain astrology aspects, crystals. Now we kind of just
Yeah.
just building. But man, great to have you in the building, though, most definitely.
Yeah, no problem, man. I actually caught this kind of late because I just so happened to see the notification. But I don't but I just went ahead and just jumped in. I was like, fuck it.
Bruh, look, and that's how I felt about like I did this just for Patreon, but then it was like slow for people to show up. So I'm like, well shit, let me just post this on YouTube and allow for the connection to pop off, Cause yeah, again, like just on again, like with the soul fam and a lot of us again, like connecting, knowing where we at, like all right, we got some folk in Texas, got some folk in Louisiana, got
Right.
Canada in the building, you know what I'm saying? We got
Right. North Carolina. Yeah.
Oh, North Carolina, you said?
Yeah, North Carolina.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's how
Henderson, North Carolina.
All right.
Yeah, I'm in the same city with Alim El Bay.
All right.
Matter of fact, he's like he lives like a block and a half from me.
All right, word, brother Lee. Matter of fact, and as we speaking on like visualizations and stuff like that, like doing that because he'll be more into like the Tai Chi work or like the energy work or the breathing techniques and stuff like that,
Oh yeah.
Because other than doing my cryo yoga breathing, I've been back into my little Tai Chi book, my little where you at? My little Montauk Chill. That awakening, the front part and just flew off, but matter of fact, like all the
Oh yeah. Is that the one like male sexuality?
This one, it has both of them in it. It got like stuff for the queens and the kings.
Okay.
Yep. Matter of fact,
yeah.
As a matter of fact, well, no, let me see, because the brethren was just talking about the star systems, and I just saw. Yeah, because I've been on that visualization vibe pretty strong lately. And then also I just started it, but it seemed like it's working. Also like doing like vagus nerve exercises for anxiety. But it's basically like eye movement exercises. And that's a lot of that stuff is already in here, even though they might not say it's for the vagus nerve, but like I've been doing a lot of that lately and been seeing a stronger difference in like my energy field and just my connection with like anxiety and stuff like that. But
yeah,
because again, like we was just talking about earlier with the crystals, it's like even with the exercise and stuff, like it helps, but it's also like understanding, you know, the roots to these things, you know, like, because anxiety, that's most likely some too far in the future type of stuff, depression too far in the past, you know. It's like finding that little awareness in the now moment. But
it's an attempt to control time either way, you know, because depression is trying to slow it down and anxiety is trying to get to the right speed, but
right.
you can't really control it.
Right. Yeah. We're showing a little connection with like meditating with the I think it's the Big Dipper or the Little Dipper. Yep. One with the North Star and then the other one with the Big Dipper. But yeah, because honestly, I feel like if anything in my growth that really makes like a strong difference is like those, like my breath work, at like cry yoga work, and just like and visualizing energy moving through my body, you know, and having that awareness. Like I feel like, you know, that done help me a lot with a lot of different little blockages and stuff like that.
All right.
But y'all, it's kind of getting too, you know, I done almost ran my mouth on everything. I ain't got nothing. Let's see, we talked about all the different little astrology vibes, again, like that stellarium aspect. And wait, was it if something? Oh, and something also like with tapping in with like what does the empty houses mean in essence? Like not having nothing in a certain house.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
There's
but
still
then
so much you can learn about it. Yeah.
what was that, sis?
I said there's still so much you can learn about it even when it's empty. You know, so much there even though it's empty.
Right, because again, it's not occupied by like no past experience. Again, I feel like the again, like we're saying, the stellarium or the I'm saying stellarium. Well, oh, that's why I'm saying stellarium. Damn, the stellium. And let me tell you why I said stellarium.
Yes, please.
Shout out to the universe, like doing this. As I was studying the stelliums last night, you know, so this morning I go to the store and there's this 18-wheeler coming through with an oversized load, and literally like a stellium is like an oversized load, is a bunch of, you know, planets, and on the back of the 18-wheeler it says stellarium, you know. So it's like basically like a little personification of me working on the stellium energy and it popping up in the physical. But yeah, like that empty house, I guess, is like the, like, again, stepping into like a, you know, a new space, like almost like a space that would make us uncomfortable because we're not used to having a lot of experiences, you know, in that quote unquote realm or in that room.
Oh, also, it could be placed, like if you think about the synastry aspect of it as well, it's like where other people fall into those houses, you know, it could activate something for you. So it's like you meet a person and they have something in that house, but you didn't have anything there. And now all of a sudden you have this, you know, access to these other things, you know, that are possible for you because that energy is there.
So in essence, you're saying like if it's a house that's empty, that allows for somebody to come into your life that's connected with that empty house, in essence?
Yeah, so example, like if someone has their Jupiter, right, in whatever, like let's say that they have their Jupiter in your third house, right? And you didn't have anything in your third house originally, but now all of a sudden you're like communicating and you're learning about, you know, how to communicate and do stuff like that, you know, it's because their Jupiter is sitting there and you're picking up that energy from that other person, you know? So it's like something that you wouldn't naturally have or even think about maybe, but there it is because this other person like popped in, or their sun, you know, like let's say that their sun is in your 11th house and now all of a sudden you're meeting new people, you know, and it's like, oh, I have all these new connections because that person's sun is there and I wasn't even thinking about new connections before, you know.
You see, like, and as you're running it with a lot of this stuff, like, because I'm just starting to expand into like, you know, the natal charts and getting into the houses and stuff like that. But like as you bringing up a lot of this stuff, it's like, all right, yeah, it's so much more to even, you know, of course you could spend a lifetime just breaking down one zodiac sign in essence, let alone astrology as a whole. But nah, again, I see that importance because I be seeing like the little connections as I've been studying it and seeing like, all right, this is why I'm attracting these types of people, you know, because even like with my Venus and Scorpio energy, you know, and Venus don't like to be in Scorpio, but like I see why, like I also have like a love for diving deep into the occult, you know, in essence. Like in that, and matter of fact, like the Brethren asked me about like with taking psychedelics, and you know, that in essence has a lot to do with that placement. It's like, all right, I want to dive deep into here, you know, to the point where again, like Scorpio dealing with like the death energy, and I had like you know, a strong quote unquote ego death trip where I basically like in essence like transition in essence. Cause I remember it's kind of make me laugh now because my family owns a funeral home, so I'm aware of like, all right, when you transition, you know, the body like you shit and piss like everything, like you release everything, you know. And on the trip, it was like literally I could feel that about to happen. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I'm about to transition. I'm about to transition. And a little soft voice was like, just let go. I'm like, oh shit. And I just said fuck it and just let go. And it happened. You know,
Wow.
I'm still here. But yeah, it was a necessary experience. I see why. And again, like especially for that again with that Capricorn controlling type of energy, that experience was definitely necessary to soften up all that. Let me control this, let me control that type of energy.
If you just want to rabbit hole through it, it's just like any question you got. Just I swear you Dolo kind of explains almost a lot of the stuff for at least Western astrology. He explained a lot of the stuff, and then once you get past a certain level, like you're already tapped into that 13th sign and everything, you know. So there's another aspect to it, right? So I swear if you any question you got, you can just YouTube it with Dolo's name and you'll find most answers, and then eventually like there's another level to it, you know.
I was just about to say, yeah, definitely like with any of the astrology stuff, like, you know, I definitely if it ain't like I'm aware of the brethren Ra'aku and Dolo is like kind of like my little astrology people. You know, I'm like, all right, I got an astrology question. I'm gonna go check out, you know, because and again though, seeing and why I vibe with like Dolo because it's a mirror of like my own approach to my spirituality where like I did my best to not depend so much on like reading so much and stuff like that. Like a lot of stuff was channeled, a lot of stuff came from like my DMT trips and my acid trips and, you know, mushroom journey. So like it allowed for me to get that insight, you know, internally first and foremost. But again, like, cause you could see like that natural vibe of like just going through the progressions of not getting it from somebody externally and seeing him like break it down, you know, like from, you know, just like, all right, I wasn't aware of this and I'm becoming aware of it through, you know, my own internal meditations and stuff like that. Cause that's why some stuff I felt like a little shaky about talking about it is because it's like, fuck, I don't see nobody else talking about this, but it came to me and it was in my experience. So I'm gonna share, you know, and even realizing like one thing that I had to catch on to, you know what I'm saying? I saw him speak on it too, was like, you know, presenting things from a more 3D perspective. Cause that's why I'm like, all right, I gotta take some of my videos and put them on Patreon or even take them off. Cause I probably expressed something that I dove so deep and probably wasn't supposed to express so straight up the way I expressed it. Just be, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, I need to, you know, draw that back because, you know, again, like peeling back those layers and seeing things, you know, again, like without the veil to a strong, you know, to a strong level in essence. But yeah, again, like, cause the books just come in secondly, you know, as far as like, all right, to confirm and stuff like that. And that's not to say to not read and stuff like that, you know. I still have my little vibes of catching a little book but you know, the insight just be coming through.
For sure. Like,
yeah.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
I was just saying to put it in its place, you know, for the intuition, wherever it comes in, and for the books, wherever they come in, just make sure they're in their place.
Yep. Feminine and masculine marriage. You know, it's like, all right, intuitive, feminine, and then the masculine is the, all right, that's the words for that feminine experience, you know, quote unquote, you know. But
yeah, I took it like, because originally when I got into a lot of spiritual, like more like when I got to like more of like the spiritual journey, kind of how like I don't know, because I was into spirituality before too, but like just kind of like how it is on, you know, YouTube, and just how it is among like the community and everything. When I kind of got into it that way around 2017, 2018, I started off with like numerology and astrology, and I really like went heavy into learning like a lot of stuff about astrology. So what I realized was a lot of the like I took an intuitive approach for sure, but I realized like with 13 signs, like with the kind of like the 13 signs method, you that is like really all intuitive. Like once you have really like the 12 sign astrology, kind of like the Western and the Eastern and the sidereal, and you know how to, you know, connect them together and everything correctly, like the 13 sign approach is like really intuitive. Like that's really like I kind of look at the 12 sign astrology, it's kind of like a foundational like kind of like the book level, like it's kind of like the foundational level before you really just take off into the
right. And again, I remember when I was getting into that, you know, again, like that was like, you know, new to me. It's like, oh, 13 sign again, like it just coming to me, you know, to kind of tap into that and pay more attention to the 13 sign thing, and then even seeing like, all right, I gotta dive deeper into this, because I just kind of like channeled into like, you know, being aware of this. But it's like, all right, there's more to it than, all right, now there's a 13th sign, you know what I'm saying, type of energy. But most definitely. Yeah, man, that astrology, that my north node, south node, my Chiron aspect, seeing them little stelliums. And then also some people say it's not considered a stellium if you don't like if the moon or the sun is involved, then it needs to be 4 planets instead of 3. But I don't, you know.
I've heard that too.
But again,
well, I have to leave now. So it was very nice to be here and connect with all of y'all.
Yeah, look, I know I'm soon about to we've been here for about 3 hours. Time don't exist though.
Honestly, that stellium stuff, like I don't know, like it's really just if you have a grouping of planets, like it's a stellium. Like it's not. It can be all in one sign. It can be all in one house. It's really a stellium. Like if you have the sun and moon there, it's an eclipse. Like if you have other things with it, it's I would say more than 2. Like if you have more than 2 things, then it's
all right.
It's a stellium. If you just have 2 things, it's just like a conjunction, you know.
All right. Yeah, because I was like on a vibe of like you know, 3 or more, you know what I'm saying? But again, like seeing in my chart where it's like the 6th house stellium, and it's like, all right, that's why like I be trying to like deal with like over organizing things, you know, again, like that Virgo energy, like trying to make sure everything's so perfect and stuff like that. And that's why sometimes with dealing with that energy, you know, it could feel heavy at certain moments. It's like, all right, you're doing too much trying to, you know, organize and analyze and, you know, and logically figure it out, you know.
That's your energy though, so like you got to do it. You know.
Well, yeah, again, it comes with the territory, but again, like just seeing where with like say for instance with that energy, it being combined with a lot of planets in my 10th house, so that Capricorn energy, then also like a lot of planets in, well, which that one don't count. 7th house Libra is not so much of a like a working energy, but more so like the again like the Virgo house and the Capricorn house. It's like You know, it could feel you know, overwhelming at moments. And I guess I use like with seeing that stellium aspect in those houses, and then seeing that my north node is Aries, it's like, all right, yeah, I need to, you know, tap into be a little more dynamic and not so over analyzing, you know, in essence. But yeah, it definitely, you know, it comes with the territory. You're right.
Yeah, and like one thing I realized too was because like again I studied so many different house systems, so many different like you know because like one thing I even realized too, I mentioned this in my last video, and like it's because one thing I noticed is, for example, um, Libra, like in the eastern side of the world, when you go to like the Ethiopian calendar or the Egyptian calendar and stuff, right? Spring starts in our fall season. You know what I mean? Like here, Aries is spring, but over there, like we don't really have spring. We have like mainly we have like three seasons or 2 seasons. There's two different ways to look at it. We either have rain and drought season, or we have 3 seasons based off of the Nile River. But when you start it, if spring starts at Libra season, then it's like I kind of looked at it like, what if people looked at like what if people were kind of looking at it wrong? Like what if like if the first sign was Libra over there, then would that make it technically like what we call Aries? You know what I'm saying? So there's almost like there might be like a reversed version of a way to look at things. So if everything kind of flips, like there's a lot of different ways to look at it, a lot of ways to reflect it, but the one common pattern I realized is like the foundation to all of these charts is that the like you know the way the lines are in your natal chart, all that, like it's all it never changes no matter what chart you use. So like if you have Virgo energy, if you have like whatever energy, it's gonna that stellium, you're still gonna always have that stellium, and it's gonna always kind of have like it's a signature. Like it's hard to explain, but it's like it's a vibration, like that never changes.
And as you bring that up, like I also like came across some insight that also said like moving like your planet, like so the houses that your planets is in, like when I say moving them, like are basically like where you do your natal chart. Like so say for instance, if I move to California again, and to do a natal chart, like where I have everything the same, but make it as if I was born in a certain area in California, you know, to see like how the aspects line up on that level, you know, and it having, you know, like again, like where's a different vibration or a different little vibe that we tap into when we're in, you know, those different quote unquote time zones and stuff like that. Or vice versa, if I was going towards the East Coast, you know what I'm saying, like in the Eastern quote unquote time zone, like to see how my energies line up out there doing a natal chart with a city that's in that time zone, and you know, and line things up on that level, you know, that way. But that's pretty interesting because I know like in Canada it's kind of like a different, like being to the north, they kind of have a different little vibe and perspective. I know like again, like with different hemispheres being spring or winter in different moments.
Yeah.
But
no, it'd be crazy because like that's really why again I like elements looking at nature too, because like for example if you're in like the woods, you know, like how like for example like with a lot of Europeans and stuff like that, like how they with witchcraft and like how they have like maybe like the horned deity, and like they go into the forest more and you know stuff like that, like they look at that domain more. Or if you're in Canada, like you said, or in like you're in a winter location, they're gonna have certain deities that are kind of like, or certain animals or certain whatever that are like the apex predators and things like that, right? And as you see like in astrology, like each sign has its own animal, it has its own, you know, has its own energy and things like that. So if you think about like what I was just saying about an energy signature, like whatever pattern that your natal chart forms when you look at like the lines and everything, if you kind of think about like an ecosystem and like how everything flows together, it's almost like each deity and all that type of stuff, like that energy signature, all that, they all kind of have like their own like energy flow and things like that. So you kind of like digest. So for example, like the food you eat,
all that type of stuff. Like it has its own flow to it. So man, it's hard to put into words. I'm trying to put like an abstract, like a pretty abstract concept into words, but
I kind of I get in essence what you're saying, like as far as like the way the chart is lined up and the certain elements is connected with certain regions and certain ecosystems in certain regions or certain elements, like, you know, like how, like in essence, I guess like when you was talking about earlier with like the in-between cusp energy. So like say for instance, if you got a cusp in between air and earth, that'd be like dust in essence, you know,
Right.
and that energy got certain animals and certain deities and connections with that, and that would thrive in a certain physical location as well, you know, kind of in essence, that's what you kind of.
Yeah, so like, and if you think about the house systems, right? A lot of times it changes, like you said, based off of region. So if you're at really north or really south, like if you're near the equator, your house systems are going to be, the house system is going to be a lot more equal. If you're more north or if you're more south, like a house might be way, like your first house, second house, whatever, it might be way bigger. It might not be 30 degrees. It might be like 40 degrees, 50, like it changes. So if you think about like the way, again, like the way your chart, like the lines on it, the shape it makes, if you think about like the different house systems you use, and the kind of like if you're in a different environment, how you would act in these different environments, but like you're still the same person necessarily. Right, it's kind of like that. That's kind of what I was getting at with health and all that stuff I was talking about before. You know, so like that Virgo energy, for example, if you have like a stellium there or like heavy energy there, and then let's say in another sense, if you look at a different chart system, like where's your stellium again? It's Virgo.
It's in I'm saying Virgo, bro, but it's in the 6th house, and I just, you know, like, so that Virgo Mercury, you know, energy. But let's see, 6th house, Scorpio is in my 6th house, but again, like the energy signature of the 6th house is kind of like, again, like with that Virgo energy.
So yeah, if that stellium moves from like the 6th house to a different house to another house, right? It's like that same energy, for example, it's going to be, it's playing out like, it's doing the same thing, but it's playing out in a different location. It's playing out kind of like a little bit in a different way. So like, for example, if someone's like, I don't know, like a bear is kind of Cancer energy. Like if you think about Cancer, it's like the crab, right? In the Egyptian system, you might think of it as like Khepri, the scarab beetle, right? But then in Canada, we got bears, right? And the bear is actually Cancer energy. So it's like, when you go to different different astrology systems, they got different animals, different things. But it's like, if you looked at it on a mathematical blueprint, it's the same pattern, but it's just being played out in a different physical form. And this is kind of how you start seeing like how that, like the spiritual aspect of like what you're doing. So if it's like Virgo and being analytical, for example, and then it's so actually the better way to look at it is like if it's like Scorpio type of energy, and it's you got like a lot of like a good ability to like have depth and be able to like what do you call it, yeah, like have depth, and then like, you know, like really go into like things on like a deeper level than if you look at it on maybe like a Eastern chart and it goes to Libra energy, then how do I word it? Sorry, I just got
wait. Now, but I said somebody got a little talking in the background.
Yeah, no, I just stepped outside. Yeah, so yeah, if you got that stellium there, and now it plays out in like a different sign, it's still kind of like the same energy, it's just a different realm. That's kind of what I was trying to say. Like the Scorpio energy might be more of like in the you know, in the physical, in like more of the Western chart aspect. But then if it's like Libra, it might be more in like a spiritual aspect, more in your astral body. So it's like the same energy, but then like, for example, in the Eastern, like when you look at the stars, it's saying that like.
When you saying Eastern, you're talking about like sidereal or sidereal?
Yeah, so if you have like Libra energy, it's more so like they're saying that the stars when you were born was in Libra, right? But that would be from like more of the perspective of like if you were actually at the stars themselves. The Western chart is more so like if you're from the perspective of like you're on Earth looking at the stars, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a time thing. So when like the Libra energy comes to Earth,
it kind of condenses into physical form into like a Scorpio energy. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly what you're saying, bro. Because that was another vibe I felt. I'm like, if light travels, what I'm saying, has to travel at a distance, just like with cutting on a light or, or some light at a distance, it's like, again, it's connected with the perspective of how we see it from here. But, if you was like closer to it, in essence, it would have like a different vibe to, excuse me, a different vibe to it in essence. So yeah, I get exactly what you're saying, bro.
Yeah, so then if it plays out in like a different environment, like Canada versus like another location, again, it's like traveling to a different spot on the planet, it's a different distance. It's all that same stuff, right? So that's what I mean. If you can really like look at the map, like the patterns that you have behind the energy, then you're going to kind of understand yourself like in all realms, which I think is like one of the most important things about astrology. Like first it connects you with seasons, it connects you with like nature, right? And then beyond like seasons and just like agriculture and like how nature plays out, then it connects you with like how your soul moves in the spiritual realm. And then there's so like astrology, that's the one thing about 13 that I thought was important. It kind of, that serpent like kind of like energy it's kind of like snakes and ladders, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's like a
Kundalini,
right? There's kind of like a secret, again, that letter S, it's like a secret pathway between all the different worlds, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you broke something and you have the cracks on like, let's say like a vase or whatever, the cracks is like, again, that serpentine pattern, so it takes you through the different worlds. Like that's like that. I feel like that's really the key about like spirituality and things like that. It lets you see things behind the scenes, and then it lets you travel between different worlds and kind of make you be more mobile.
Yep, because that's why I feel like the representation of like a dragon / snake / wormhole / like going through the mouth of like a snake, or the Ouroboros in essence, or a Taurus field. Like, because as I was watching the last Mimsy, and it was showing the spiders making a web, and it kind of in essence like was like a tunnel, but just in essence a tunnel would be like, if you got swallowed by a snake in essence, that would be like, going through a snake portal, or into another world. So I definitely get that connection you're talking about.
Yeah, so that organization, if you know how to kind of organize the energy, it's like, okay, well, you're not going to necessarily, maybe if you're in your astral body, you're not really going to be connected. You're not going to really be using that Virgo energy like that. Like it's not going to be in that, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be in a different house. So if you kind of know how to organize the energy on Earth, you're supposed to use it like that. You know what I'm saying? When you're in like maybe like a meditation in a different state, you don't want to try to maybe like, you don't want to really like maybe think too, like if you're meditating on your Western chart, when you're like, if you're sitting down, you're meditating on your Western chart, it's more so like how you're going to use that when you're awake, you know what I'm saying? But if you're actually in your astral body, like you might want to let go of that rigidness so you could just like flow in that world. But then when you bring it into this world, then you can make something that's abstract, concrete, you know what I'm saying?
Right. It's used more so from a physical perspective than, again, like from an astral or spiritual perspective.
Yes, right, hence yin and yang and all that, yeah. But
nah, bro. Yeah. I'm catching a look. Again, like, and I'll be real with you, and it's kind of like the brethren Quentin asking about like with doing the YouTube channel and like knowing what you're talking about when you're talking about it. Like I'm also being, like in the realm of like astrology, like I get a lot of things, and I'm picking up on a lot of things, and I'm able to, digest, but I'm not gonna sit here and talk like as if I've been doing this, for years, or what I'm saying? Like at the same time, I say something if I'm feeling like I'm receiving a channel on it, or things of that nature. But I'm still very in the early stage of student mode when it comes to astrology,
Yeah, me too. Because it's like it's Western astrology, then sidereal, and then Vedic. And Vedic is just like its own animal. Yeah. And another thing, I ran across Aztec astrology. And that was one thing, because the funny thing about that, I was seeing rabbits the whole year. Rabbits. And I've been watching on Watership Down, everything. And one day when I was looking through my my chart, something was like looking to Aztec astrology. So I went and looked. I guess my birth sign or my birth symbol will be the rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
No, I feel that. So that was a whole thing right there.
And as you bring that up, because I remember coming across an astrology book for like the Aztec, because the little symbols kind of look a little different, like 13 little symbols right here, and another little amount that kind of time together and stuff like that. But nah, bro, as you bringing that up, that kind of gave me a little insight to kind of tap back in with that.
And it's useful too, because like if you use like Aztec astrology and you're actually like, see, like that taps you into that's like letting you tap into another location. Like basically, like if you were to incarnate in that location where they use that astrology, it lets you like understand almost like maybe like different incarnations of yourself, you know, when you put your astrology, when you put that same like signature, that same pattern into like different systems, right? So it's like, now it's like if you tap into the bunny, right? And let's say that's like that's like what would be the bunny? Is that damn, I forget which sign that is.
Like Venus or something, like, you know, for Western in essence.
Yeah, I think it might be like Gemini or something.
I think it's either Cancer. Gemini or Capricorn.
And I just think of fertility and love. I think of Easter I thought of Easter, Ishtar, Venus, so that's why I brought it.
Oh yeah, no, it is Venus energy. No, you're right. It is Venus energy for sure. But like how the Aztecs look at it. So let's say let's say they used it to represent like Cancer or something, right? Mm-hmm. Then if you understand that relates to maybe like, I don't know, the scarab beetle in Egypt, then if you're in Egypt, instead of like, you know, whatever location you're at, you might not see bunnies there, but you might see another insect or animal or whatever that represents that same, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like, again, the animal that's representative of like you're seeing rabbits in this area, but when you go to Egypt, it'll be a scarab beetle instead of a rabbit, but the scarab beetle is connected to, you know, that same energy, you know, just again, like a different region.
Right.
Yeah. Man, that spirituality is really just about seeing behind the scenes, right? So once you can see like kind of like that same pattern behind the scenes, like if you have like maybe like a turtle and like maybe like the Taurus energy or like things like that, right? Like they're gonna have kind of similar behaviors, you know what I'm saying? So like slow moving, like it's really the patterns behind it, you know what I'm saying?
All right. Because now you just made me kind of pick up on the vibe of like out here in Louisiana, and most in Louisiana, like a lot of squirrels, like that squirrel energy. And I know a squirrel kind of represents like that childlike, playful energy in essence. And I was like, I wonder if that's like a connection with like the Leo energy. But then it's also squirrels represent like, you know, almost like a Virgo energy of like organizing things and, you know, saving and collecting things for when the winter time comes around, you know, in that sense. But it's like that playful yet organizing. And oh shit, yeah, it could, because Virgo right on side of Leo, so it could be like, you know, a squirrel represent a cusp type of you know, animal in essence. Like on some shit. All right. Well, shout out to you bringing up that type. You see, like
yeah.
That shit.
Low-key, like, I don't know, like 12 signs astrology, Western astrology is like it's a really good foundation to learn about. Like if you really understand like the 12 signs, the 12 like really, if you just want like a kind of like a not intuitive, but like just a direct approach, I would just kind of look at it like, okay, learn the signs, learn the houses, learn the planets, and then like after you kind of get those in touch, you can look at the elements and modalities, right? Mm-hmm. And then from there, you can kind of look at different house systems. Once you start understanding different house systems, you can start applying it to different places around the world, and then you can start getting kind of like funky with it too. Because even with what you're saying about like squirrels and, you know, different animals, they're also going to have different crystal makeups too. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to start to be able to see like different things within them like that.
Right.
And then also like if you can apply like crystals and things like that, you're going to see what, like if crystals attract certain lights, that's also kind of like how animals are attracted to certain foods, and people are attracted to certain pheromones. Like they're all pretty interrelated.
Yeah, because again, like I know. Oh wait, hold on. Let me see. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Because I know, like with the connection when you bring up the crystals, and just like I just brought up the squirrels, but like working with like greenish yellow crystals and how that's all connected kind of in the same area, like with the greenish yellow color and crystals all work with like that Leo / inner child work type of energy, you know what I'm saying, dealing with the confidence and more so like a solar plexus, heart chakra like connection in essence. But yeah, like the crystals are speaking those archetypes, and that's also working with the liver, you know, on the body level. You know, it's that light green color when you're doing the visualizations. Matter of fact, like the Montauk Chia book, you know, speak of. And then and again, in realizing that like the liver deals with emotions, and our emotions that get stored in our liver. And again, like with the bitterness of biome, and biome, I think I'm saying around bio, you know, but that little greenish stuff that might come up when we throw up, you know what I'm saying, and the bitterness of it, and that connected to dandelion root being good for detoxing that area. But again, like, so the colors and yeah, all that foods, all that. Yes, sir. Most definitely, man.
Yeah, and then you can connect it to deities, right? So bile, like Baal, right? Baal with like the bowels and the bile, right? And like all that type of stuff. So it starts, and that's the other part too. That's the wildest part, is like once you start getting into like really deep into it, like I'm sure you've seen like certain sacred geometry and that type of stuff in like meditations and visualizations, right? And they can form into those same sacred geometrical shapes. They form into the letters that we speak. So if you say like the word bear, it has a certain sigil to it that originally was a sacred geometrical shape, which was originally a vibration that was in the spiritual realm, which is what you're trying to draw in the natal chart. You know what I mean?
Right. And it'll end up, you know, showing up like, again, like you're talking about in the lines of the circular natal chart in essence.
Yeah, that's like a two-dimensional representation. So then if you could like make it like 3-dimensional, 4th-dimensional, then that's when it starts to look like an actual energy signature, right? And that energy signature, right? That's what it becomes. That, like if you go from like a 2-dimensional representation to like the energy signature, then like that's what that's like, you know, when you say equals MC squared, like energy equals matter times the speed of light, all that type of stuff. That's just talking about how energy, like the energy signature becomes matter, and it becomes what we are today, right? So that's literally exactly what it is. Like we can see through, there's so many different ways to see through the spiritual realm, and
right,
and connect the physical with the spiritual. So that's why I was kind of saying earlier, like if you know how to chant things, or if you know how to do certain things, like you can tap into those energies and then make things that are spiritual physical, and so on and so forth, you know?
No, man, exactly, bro. Well, no, yeah, I was kind of, it almost reminded me of like this little picture. That's what I thought about as you were saying it.
Oh,
the projection, like, you know, kind of like in essence, like, you know, energy, and then kind of coming down until it projects into the physical. But again, like certain and it's not exactly, because I see where it has like the star breakdown, but again, like kind of like where it's vibrational.
No, but that is what it is. That exactly is what it is, because it has to go through our solar system to reach here. You see what I'm saying? Those are all portals. Right. So they're showing you each portal of how it gets here. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Bro.
Yeah. No, it's some crazy shit. That's why if you meditate, do affirmations, all that type of stuff, like you're literally bringing, like you're creating reality with your thoughts, or yeah. And then the more you tap into your spirit, it's just the more you're actually bringing yourself here. There's just so many different ways to do it. And that's the one thing that I think is cool about the community and everything. It's kind of like everyone is like tapping into their own ways to do this type of the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because it's like different perspectives. Like again with the brethren Quentin, starting a channel is like, hey, you here to express it in your unique manner because they got some people waiting to hear it from your perspective. You got some unique way of expounding on these things.
Yeah, so the more he knows about his abilities and like that type of stuff, the more you're able to bring that personal expression out, which is like, and like, yeah, you can, it's really just through knowledge of self. The more you tap into yourself, and it's that inner work.
Man, that's yeah, that's all it is, man. Inner work. Because again, like I think of like starting off the growth, like we was talking about earlier, it's like, doing a lot of, like a lot of channeling. And that's what, for me was like, to me, one of my little energies is like channeling insight. Like some people call it claircognizance, but I just kind of would get like this insight and perspective, and never read no book on it or none of that, you know what I'm saying? And even having to, again, like have the whole chakra system on point, because if the solar plexus is not right, I'ma feel like, oh man, I'm, like I shouldn't even say that, or, like not have the confidence to connect it and bring it through, to the physical, and share it. Cause also I feel like that solar plexus is also strongly connected with the throat chakra in that sense, because having the confidence to express, but like with the channeling aspect, like just getting insight. Because even outside of psychedelic journeys, just sitting down and catching little certain insights and just having to be confident to speak on it. Because I catch something and sometimes not even like, oh man, that just seemed like too outlandish. And then about a couple of months later, somebody doing a video talking about it. It's like, all right, you just need to be confident at what you're picking up on. Being strong in your spirit. Most definitely. But yeah, my brethren, but we're gonna soon commence, man.
Yeah.
But any crystal questions before I go? Matter of fact, I know that's my little strong area of expertise. Any?
You're at a grander, right?
I think grandiorite is the crystal that has a high nickel content in it. Because matter of fact, because nickel is the, like, so other than magnesium, nickel in crystals help for like a greenish color. And that nickel helps to like get rid of like nightmares, especially dealing with like nightmares for children. I can't recall all the specifics for that crystal in general, but I remember looking up like nickel based crystals, because chrysoprase is another one, and that one works good for again, like working with the Leo energy and inner child, and that also kind of goes like when I think about what Brother Panic was talking about, the book with Judy K. King, talking about the phage lambda, because I was also seeing like with the phage lambda, they had like certain elements that was connected to that as well, and nickel was one of them, and again, like that whole connection with that and transitioning through or transitioning out of this realm. And a part of like having the transition lighthearted is to heal a lot of heavy inner child work, or aka working with that nickel or magnesium in essence, or that yellowish green color, the heart and solar plexus, to kind of are in essence too, like looking at it from a Gnostic perspective too, of like having to heal your inner Yadala brought, having to heal that inner aborted fetus or aborted child energy, that child that got pushed aside, because in essence, when we talk about inner work or shadow work, like the Yadala brought energy, in essence, it's kind of like that inner child that got, pushed to the side. And like with any of that work, it's like in order to heal, you're not like the reason why that energy got damaged in the first place is from neglect and a lack of love. So you're not gonna heal it by like, oh, be against that energy or fuck that energy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, no, you gotta tap in and be able to, embrace that, that rejected child or that rejected quote unquote Lucifer aspect, from that perspective, and again, not from the division delusion aspect, but which it is like, from being in this realm of division or delusion, again, at one point, something said, all right, that little part of the child ain't for me. That part of the child ain't me or ain't for me or ain't connected to me. And, created that separation or that wound in that sense. And again, but that's connected with the nickel, the crystals with nickel in it. And, because matter of fact, since I'm right here and you're bringing it up, let's see. With nickel on a physical level, nickel helps to promote the absorption and utilization of iron. So like helps with the utilization of the Mars energy. It promotes the activity of the liver and detoxification of the organism. And nickel helps with pain that arises periodically with headaches. On a psychological level, nickel promotes a feeling of security within us and helps with fearfulness, sadness, and irritability. It also helps to let go of oppressive images, particularly in the case of reoccurring nightmares. And nickel also fortifies the power of regeneration. And then on a spiritual level, it helps to promote creativity, inventiveness, and it also helps to, matter of fact, speaking of the inner child aspect, helps to keep us young mentally and encourages a playful nature. So yeah, all connected, man. But I ain't never worked with it yet, though. As far as say the name of that crystal again, bro. Good. Greedia, right? I don't forgot the name of it that quick.
Right.
Oh, you the mic though.
Oh yeah.
That was Bridger Rod that brought it up, but it seemed like his mic off. But I was asking him to say what that crystal name was again. Yep. He gone, but
okay.
But yeah, my brothers, we're gonna commence, man. Mr. Quentin, good to have you come through. And brother, Straight Panther, what you go by your YouTube, Straight Panther? Or you got another little nickname you go by or something? Or?
Yeah, that's I actually kind of consider that one of my actual names.
All right.
Not a nickname, but an actual name. I got a whole bunch of names, man. I got a whole bunch of them. So that one right there, that was just one that was just real special to me.
Gotcha. And
it I felt like it was a spiritual name just to have for myself. It's just, but it's still just another, I guess just so you can say just another label for me. But when the day I learned my true name is on and popping. When I learned that, right. Yeah.
Yes, sir. But man, always, bro, blessings and love, man. Always great to holler at you, man, and see you come through, in the videos and everything, man, because you've been around for a minute.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Trust me, man. Man, I'm a moderator for at least like 6 or 7 different people, man.
Yeah.
All of them in the info, man. Yeah.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you for holding the space you hold, bro.
Thank you,
man.
Yeah, and thank you, man. Thank you, because you put me on. You helped propel me on my path too, man. So forever thank you for that, man. Forever thank you for that, because you're a big motivator for me to keep me doing what I'm doing. Because there's a lot of times, man, I can honestly sit there. I can honestly admit there's times I sit there, I feel like I'm lost, but it's always something that'll nudge me in a direction that I need to go in, man. So yeah, man, I thank you.
It's mutual, bro. Because again, like from seeing, you know, you and other people pop up in the videos, you know what I'm saying? Because again, throughout my journey, like I was just talking about earlier in the video, like from going from my little cycle and seemed like I went in one of those downward cycles where I almost like was taking a nap for a little second, you know, and coming back up out of it again, you know, and y'all still there, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, definitely, bro. Like I appreciate you, definitely, man.
Yeah.
Well, and have a blessed night, my brother.
You too, man. Yeah, have a blessed night.
You'll be seeing me pop up on some videos soon. Just working on some things, cooking up some matter of fact, and also got a podcast through the what's the name of that app? That's soon be cooking up. Let me see. On Anchor.
Anchor?
Yeah, yep, okay. Anchor on that little podcast app. But it'll also actually, I'm tripping. It'll also be on Spotify and Apple Music too. But it's on Spotify right now, but Anchor is one of the apps that you could connect with it. Cause I got one episode, but it was basically like the video I did on magnesium already. So
Okay. I'll check that out because I recently just started getting into like podcasts and all that stuff on Spotify because all I've done was just put my music on there and just, you know, just have my little playlist. But I recently just started like getting into podcasts, looking for something really good, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna check you out, man.
All right. And you say what, like music that you've done yourself, bro?
No. I wish just
Cause I'm about to say, look, I got my pen ready. I was like, wait, bro, let me know the name right quick, bro.
Nah, but just oldies, you know what I'm saying? I'm a 90s baby, man. So just going back, getting a lot of old stuff. Deal with a lot of underground stuff because I like a lot of mainstream rap music. I can't even deal with it no more.
I know, yeah. It's
it's
too
gone.
Many
it's
rituals
gone. So yeah, man. So like I've been playing a lot of Griselda, but other than that, man, I've been looking for like acid jazz, a little bit of rock, oldies rock music here and there. Like I'm always playing like Pink Floyd. I like Pink Floyd. What else?
I was outdoors lately too.
Yeah.
and I like and I ain't gonna lie, and I'm a Talking Heads. I fucks with Talking Heads too on some
Talking
shit.
Heads. Yeah, man. Smashing Pumpkins.
All right.
Smashing Pumpkins and 9 Inch Nails, man.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So like for my music, dude, I just like I like because like me, I grew up when in hip hop when everybody was an MC. So like I got like a whole bunch of like Ghostface Killer and Sean Price, Wu-Tang, A Tribe Called Quest. There's a lot of stuff I used to like through junior high on up to like basically now, you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Man, most definitely, bro. Well,
yeah.
All right, my brother. Matter of fact, I see Aaron about to commence, Mr. Aaron, about to be out of here.
Yeah, where my phone died earlier there, so just coming back.
But this just again, and I wanted to do this as just like a little test run, Bill. You know what I'm saying? Like just to, you know, again, have some little connection. I'll be better prepared next time.
No, I was good. Like I don't really have to.
Yeah, because honestly, I did it more for like a build and not again like not no like, hey, class, this is, you know, it was just kind of, you know, for a little build, man. But most definitely.
All right, that was good.
Man, again, man, everybody, y'all have a blessed one, bros, and we'll stay connected.
All right. Peace.
All right. Peace, y'all.